Alright, we good, we good. Yeah, great
Cool.
mask though. I appreciate you coming with that on. I think it totally adds something to the whole character of Exo Skeleton, and I say
Thank
that
you, sir.
because it's
Thank
so
you.
cool. It's a pleasure to have you here. Honestly, like just so that everyone knows, my name is Holden Stephan Roy, and this is Bridge the Gap. This is the show where we take very interesting people like Mr. Exoskeleton over here, and we run through their lives, and we have conversations, and we learn knowledge nuggets, and we try to grow together through the experience of hearing what different people have gone through in their own experiences. With that being
Mhm.
said, Mr. Exoskeleton is a relatively mysterious character, as in it's not simple to
Mhm.
find out like specific informations on him. On the other hand, his music's blessed, his art's blessed, the beats are blessed, the music videos are blessed. Yes, I did list all those things because all those things are all part of it, and he's a freelancer. It's the very first thing he like tells me, just to let you know that in case you need some of that shit done, you can hit up the exoskeleton and get that shit paid. Just send him some cash, you get some quality work. Life is a beautiful
Mhm.
situation. And on that note, though, it is super great to have you here, and we can now solve some of the mysteries that some of us have developed over the last 2 hours of who
The
is
mystique.
exoskeleton.
The mysterious expert organizer. Yes. It's just, man, it's a lot. This is going to be very fun and interesting because I was looking at when you interviewed Sir Chizzy and just the questions and the in depth, and I'm sitting back like, holy shit, this is going to be me. And I've been preparing myself. I'm like, I'm digging in my own mind's note crate, like, wait a minute, do I remember this, like, I'm a stumble, but damn, it's going to be good.
That's awesome. But that's cool though. To me, that's encouraging to me. It's like it's kind of like nice to be at a point where it's like people are like, "Yo, I did that homework. I came in knowing what to expect." I'm like, "Yo, that's awesome. That's just better than the
Yes.
opposite." Which not to be like rude, but if you're like, "The shit's that long," and I'm like, "Oh, you didn't Google me at all. All right, let's go." um,
Right.
but I do have my like token first question I like to run through with everyone because I mean it's actually just fun to hear the way people answer it. So I keep asking. It's a little bit of a story. We're gonna run through it. So
All
ba-
right.
basically, my girlfriend is washing the dishes one time and she's listening to that Black Eyed Peas song that I got a feeling. Ooh. And then like she's like dancing and she's like doing her shit and she's like whatever, whatever. And I'm thinking, yo, remember like 10 years ago when we were like in our early 20s, we were at the club in the circles dancing to that very song, getting drunk, fucking wasted, all that shit. And I'm sitting there going, hold up. That was once upon a time the club music. And now it's the mom exercise music. It could be exercise, whatever. Sometimes I say the mom music, they get mad, whatever, I understand. But it's the vibe and the activity and the getting stuff done and the chores and all of this shit. And I went, autumn club bangers today, these things are going to be chores music of the future. Absolutely. Because why wouldn't they be?
Yeah,
Those same
definitely.
people are going to turn 30 something and then be wanting to do dishes and listening to their club music in the future. That's just what happens. But then I was like,
True.
yo, music's really attached to these vibes and these moments and things. But then I realized when we think about our own musical journeys, we often start at this point when we come into the picture and we start making decisions and stuff. But that's not really like the start of the journey, right? So the start
Right.
of the journey kind of rolls it way back to when you're like super young. I don't know, I pick five arbitrarily, but around that era being really young. And it's really the vibes of like your parents doing chores or siblings or the radios or whatever it is. Like in my case, my dad had all these Led Zeppelin tapes and rock and all that kind of shit going on, whereas my mom was into these disco tapes and whatnot. And then like in the car, we ever had Krista Berg there for some reason, and like just different sounds and different things. It was tapes and radios for me. That was the whole like universe and whatnot. So I was curious for you though. What was it like to be like a young, like 5-year-old exoskeleton, exolin producer, whatever one of the names you want to go with, when you were that young? What was like the sounds like? What was the tech like? What was it like being young, and what was the soundscape of your existence?
Oh, man. 5-year-old exoskeleton. So, my father, like, I come from a huge family. Like, my father, he had 5 to 6 brothers and his father before him had like 5 to 6 brothers. So it was like routine. I had 4 brothers, so he had 5 sons. So our household consists of, as far as music, like he was a singer. So we talking about Delaphonics, Dramatics, Temptations, Teddy Pendergrass,
Okay.
OJ's, literally like the list goes on. Like the Blue Notes, him and his brothers, they had a singer group. They used to open up for the Dells and the Temptations. They done, had their version of a cipher where they would all be singing and, blowing notes and stuff like that, like the street corner quartet, like they know what they say in the hood. So it consists of that, of course, Black Belt Theater, comic books, cartoons, like DC, X-Men, Captain America, all that, Super Friends, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, Robotech, Speed Racer, like the list literally goes on. So at 5, and a year prior to that, I had just started drawing. My younger brother, my oldest brother, my apologies, my oldest brother, Tretch, well, Demetrius, what we call him, Tretch or Doc. He was drawing, and he would pull me up. I have a piece of paper with some, like the notebook paper and stuff like that. He would show me how to draw. He would draw something, and I would like copy behind him and stuff like that. So by the time I was 5, I felt like I was getting a little bit more dependent, but he was still, carrying me on. And I'm still picking up from him. And the one thing that everybody had to know how to draw, which is kind of felt like a unwritten rule, was between Batman and, well, at that time it was just Batman, to be honest with you, and like stick figures. Stick figures was like a big plus in the household at that time. So stick figures and Batman. I think I distinctly remember moving at that time from the east side of Baltimore, which is where I'm at currently, all the way to the west. And by the time I got there, yeah, it went from, it was a household, and it was like 4 to 5 different families in there. So we got me, my two older brothers, my younger brothers. So at this time, it's 4 of us. And it's us, my aunt, her kids, my other aunts, their kids, my uncles. It was like, I want to say it had to be like a good 14, 15 heads in there, plus. And it was, man.
You're like 5 when this happens, like in that young age?
Mm-hmm.
With like that many people in the house.
Yeah.
That's serious.
Crew deep, man. And the one thing that I do distinctly remember was music being a very important part in my family. Because like I said, my father, he was part of the singing group. So that was something that traveled with him. Between the music and the art. Those are the 2 main things that I gravitate towards. Of course, the gaming. I was a gamer. So that was going to happen. But the music and the art was like the main things.
So so you were already drawing when you were really young. At that point, did you also have interest in creating music because your dad was doing it? Because that's like a little different than most of us. Most of us aren't sitting there with parents who are actively creating. So usually, you look up to it, you see it happening. Was that something you wanted at that age, or did that come like later on?
So the music came like super later on. The art, to be honest with you, which is wild, the art actually came later on too, because even though I was drawing, my interest wasn't there. So you got to think, I'm like 5, drawing. In my head, I'm like, what? So disclaimer, and a lot of people don't know this piece of information I'm about to throw out there. I didn't want to draw, and I didn't want to be a musician. I either wanted to be a damn fireman, or my favorite magician was David Copperfield. I wanted to be a fucking magician. Like, I want to do magic. I want to make bitches disappear and shit. Like, I didn't want.
No, I fucks with that. No, I remember being young and discovering magic and being like, nah, that's ill. And then you grow up and find out most people don't necessarily agree with you, which is sad, because magic, Penn and Teller is bullshit, or not the bullshit, the magic show they did where they were trying to like figure out the tricks is one of the coolest fucking things I ever saw. Like, honestly, it is just so enjoyable.
Yeah, I love that shit. Shouts out to
I see the homie Paul Shakespeare just clocked on. Then her and Tizzy having a nice conversation. What's up, guys?
Oh, that's super dope. That's the one that was on your checks.
Yeah. So Paul Shakespeare, we looked at Flowing Waters. She was on Battle Tone. She the one who did Lady Sing the Blues.
That's
Yes,
fucking
that
cool.
is.
Yo,
Yes,
shout
that
out
is
Paul.
her.
I don't remember.
Paul Shakespeare.
It was gorgeous stuff. We listened to it. I say that sincerely. But shout out you for being in the chat too.
Awesome.
That's fresh. So,
So,
fair
yeah.
enough. Being young, it is
Yeah,
what it is. I asked the question because sometimes people give me some really interesting answers like, nah, we were doing full-on dance routines at 5 years old to Michael Jackson songs and shit. So I'm like, you know what? You never know what people are going to say. But we learned that you started drawing mad early and getting some game on. And that's fucking cool. And we learned your dad was a singer, which is also fucking amazing. So it shows that's already people in your family that are older than you are displaying artistic capabilities in different directions. So right from the jump, that was present in your life. So that's an interesting and significant detail, I would say. So then I guess the next question usually goes on the lines of somewhere around the puberty life, we usually get this moment of basically we find this song or we find this moment where like music usually goes from being the shit that's around us to some shit that we fuck with. For me, it was the Thon song. It wasn't necessarily the subject matter. It just happened to be that song. Maybe it was. I was 12. But yo, that song fucked me up. We listened to it like 12 times in a row, and my teacher must have gone fucking crazy. It was at school and shit. Yo, it fucked me up. I was like into it. I'm like, yo, what is this music thing? Let me see. Anyway, let me...
I hate that damn song. I swear I hate that song.
But like, it got me into music. So for me, it's a cool song. Do you remember that moment for you? Like when you got into music and shit?
When I got into music, okay, so I want to say around this time frame, I had to be like a 11, 12. And my father, he had finally like, you know what? I had five sons. I'm gonna give it the old college heave ho. So he was here, him and his brothers started training us. They wanted to teach us how to sing. So it was late nights. We would be up singing. Around this time, it was all about Jodeci, Boys to Men,
Okay.
Silk, all of that. So we are here doing the do re mi fa sol la si do, and then going back down and learning about harmonizing and doing runs, working on the breath control, trying to find what range we was in, all of that. Me and my brothers, I'm pretty sure they not looking at this right now. I kind of wish they was, as obviously nobody in the chat. I'm almost certain my mother's listening to it, and I'm gonna mess with her later on about this. Me and my brothers did make an R&B song. I only remember the title. I do not remember the lyrics. Hardly remember the chorus. The name of the song was called "She Got Skills." Do not ask me to sing that shit. I swear to God, it's not happening. But we did it, and we made this shit. And God, it was god awful, but dang it, we loved it. Like, we would rehearse this one song because our plan was to have a full song and present it to my father. So the next time him and his brothers go on tour or, open up for somebody, we would be on the card. That was the idea. And then my oldest brother, Lex, he was in Job Corps. He had finally came back home for break. He came in the basement. We all down there, tripping, playing the game and stuff like that. And he was like, yo, I need y'all to listen to something. Check this shit out. He put it in. It's by this group called the Wu-Tang Clan. And he played the Mysteries of Chess Boxing. And I'm just looking like, I felt like I was zoomed in. And like everything behind me was quiet. It was just me and this tape deck. And I'm just staring at it and just listening to everything. It has everything in that I love, talking about kung fu flicks and stuff like that. Like the lyrics, I'm like, damn, how the hell is yo doing this? And I'm just looking. And when it went off, I was like, yo, that's what I want to do. I want to learn how to do that. I don't want to do this soft R&B shit. I want to learn how to do what yo did. And that's what started it. That was in 92. I remember that shit. That's what started. I looked, and my brothers and them was going off like, "Yo, like they never heard nothing like this before." I mean, sure, I was with them too, but it was like for some reason it was like super different to me. It tapped in, and also around this time, like artistically, I was starting to improve more. So it went from doing Marvel comics and DC comics to me literally making my own characters. Like me and my brother, we was taking characters that we created, drawing them out, and then having them go against, like one of my characters would go against the X-Men, or like Cyclops, Wolverine. Like I had my villain going up against Magneto. We had storylines where our team would hook up with their team to take down the Signals and stuff like that. Like this shit was massive. We even had one.
Y'all are literally, you're 11, 12 years old, drawing comic books where y'all are inventing superheroes that have the skill sets to battle Marvel heroes and villains.
Yes.
That is up there in one of the coolest shits I've heard on this show so far. I don't know if everyone has to agree with me or not, but I fuss with that. I fuss with it, man.
Thank you.
I grew up with it.
And then yes, that's my shit.
So like I'm just like anyway, but like it's like hearing that shit, it's like, you know what? I love it on every level. A, it's just the practicing your shit and doing what you love. But B, it's like loving yourself too, right? Like when I was young, I used to make up my own imaginary worlds and invent my own universes to explore because, I don't know, and that worked out well for me to be creative and shit. You didn't have to rely on other things. And in a sense, it's like you got bored of like the existing, multiverses and created your own and infused with theirs. That's like hella cool at any age with anybody to have done that. But you did it when you were young, so to me it's hella cooler.
Thank you, man. It was, I don't know, it was one of those things, like I always had the sense of me wanting to have my own, not wanting to be like everybody, because I'm almost certain at 12, looking around, everything is like carbon copy, and you're like, I kind of want my own identity at a young age. And it started with the comic books. Like I would see kids come to school, the ones that could draw, they was drawing, or I could draw Cyclops, or I could draw Wolverine. I'm like, yeah, I could do that too. But can I make my own? And that's what I was striving for. Like Stan Lee had to have been, and still is to this day, one of my greatest idols. Like I looked up to Stan Lee. So you can pretty much imagine that when he died, I shed a thug tear. It happened. I don't shed a tear for no other celebrities. It's the only guy that happened to. I'm sitting in the movie there that, he came on and I'm yelling at myself, why am I crying? Like, it's Stan Lee, dude, come on. So.
No, but Stan Lee's a huge character. Like, my best friend draws comic books, or he's aspiring to. He's in the middle of creating his own intellectual properties. So, like, a lot of what you're saying I resonate with because my homeboy feels very similarly. So, it might not be something I fully share, but it is certainly not the first time I've experienced the passion towards Stan Lee, his creativity, the general world of comic books, and I am fully aware of how awesome they are.
Yeah. He was definitely a powerful influence. Not only him, but also my brother, the one that Demetrius, the one who showed me how to draw. Like he gave me the tools, and I went from being pupil student to like running leg to leg with him. It's funny, and I'll share the story. Me and him actually had a moment where we competed against each other. The competition was to do 40 comic books. I think we had like a month to do 40 comic books a piece. He beat me. I lost by 1. I had 39. He had 40. Yep. I was like, dang it. And he told me one day. He said one day you'll be able to beat me. And I'm assuming it happened. So
that's interesting.
That's awesome.
No, I appreciate that. I was just responding to a little comment that I thought I should respond to.
Yeah, everybody. Hey, everybody.
No, it's really dope. I'm really happy that people are here and vibing and shit. And I really like your storytelling. I feel like it's cool to hear about all of these things, which definitely makes sense given what you do today. And I think it's fascinating because a lot of us don't necessarily believe in ourselves, but also forget that we clocked like 80,000 hours of practice as kids and some shit. And all of that counted, and it all counted. So it's like hearing you express this stuff and seeing seeing what kind of like came out of it. It's just fun. So
Yeah, it's
like,
awesome, man.
so basically, you're 12 and you're already popped out a whole bunch of comic books, and simultaneous to that, you're like decided I'm gonna be like a Wu-Tang rapper.
Yeah, basically. I was just, hey, my brothers was getting mad at me. I do remember times where I was annoying the shit out of them because I just kept rhyming for no reason. I was just sitting there making up rhymes and stuff like that. I knew it was silly, but I kind of like felt like I was like practicing. And then I would listen to like some of my favorite songs, not only from the Wu, but like different artists. So Third Base, of course, EPMD. Fucking love EPMD. NWA, I was a fan, but not a huge fan. Public Enemy was definitely cool. LL and a couple others. It's just not hitting me right now. But the Wu was definitely there. Oh, my fault. Mobb Deep, when around that time when they came along. Like my mother and my father, they knew we was into music, but it was real strict on what we listened to because it was like a lot of the shit was violent, especially NWA. Like it was like a no in that house. NWA and Public Enemy was definitely a no in that house. Now everybody else was cool, you know. Oh, you don't cuss, you can listen to that. You know, you listen to EPMD was okay. But Public Enemy and NWA, we got caught listening to them. We was in shitloads of trouble. We played that shit. You got to turn it down like, no. So, nah.
So, we all using tapes? What about the radio? We all fucking with the radio?
Yeah, man. So, as I got older, I learned how to, like, record. So, that was an old-fashioned way that me and my brothers used to record our voices. Okay. We would have one tape deck that played the instrumental that was on one radio, and on the other radio it would just record the voice. We didn't have a microphone hooked up per se, but some back in the day, some radios had a built-in mic, so we would hit the play button and record on that one and just have the instrumental playing, and that's how we did it. As beta as that was, as MacGyverish that was, that shit was everything that we had, and we did it.
You'd be surprised at how many cool MacGyver solutions have been given. There's somebody did a PlayStation. That was my favorite. They used the PlayStation to create music, and I'm like, all things considered, that's fucking fire.
We're going to get there. Damn, we're going to get. Oh my God, we are going to get there because somebody just posted something that reminded me about that. I seen that, was like, ooh, I remember those days. God damn.
So yeah, I think the MacGyver stuff is really important to also think about because, like by the time I got into music, it's like 2012. So like, let's be real. Like, what do you need? Everything's digital. Like, you really just needed access, you know. So everything was like at home at that point, regardless to whatever. So it's cool to like go back because it gives an appreciation for me and I think anyone else watching of what it was like, and then but also like it explains so much about like the intricate level of details that went into a lot of the earlier work in hip hop too, because it was physically and literally harder to produce, which meant your project management game and your pre-planning had to be in a very different state than slip, slide, cut, paste, experiment.
Yeah, definitely. It was, man, it was like we would play it, and then on top of that, we didn't even have fucking instrumentals. So I don't know how, but I figured out a way. Like, so we used to listen to this radio station on Morgan State called 88.9, strictly hip hop. It comes on from 12 to 5, so 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. Like, so we talking about midnight, Friday nights up. They playing nothing but hip hop. I'm talking about like Boot Camp Clip, Black Moon, like straight underground hip hop, and even the Wu. So sometimes they will play, like, let it play, and you'll hear the instrumental at the end, and we're like, oh snap, she's still playing some of the beats. So I would sit there, play, like we'll record that whole night, play the part that we want, stop, loop it some way, and record it on the next tape deck. Have the instrumental, same thing, play the instrumental on one tape deck, empty tape, vocals record, go for it. Like, that was a strenuous experience, but goddamn it, made it work. I was like the only one that was able to do that out of all the brothers. Like, yo, can you get this instrumental? Just let it play. And then the radio station, like, sometimes you'll hear they'll play a song like that, it's dope. Like, oh man, and then the DJ kill the DJ, they just cut it and go to the next track and start talking over. Like, come on. And now I gotta sit here and wait for this one particular song. Everybody want the instrumental and play again, dude. Messing up. But it was fun though. It was fun. That's why I learned how to loop. Shit.
That's super fucking fascinating, because I was just commenting on how cool that you made that one groove that I found entrancing, and how hard it is to make like a particular groove. But effectively, your early production was kind of in that DJ-esque feel of find the perfect spot of the song, grab that, loop that, because you were limited and forced to do that on some technology shit. That is a truly interesting creation process that even when you do come to the digital experience, it's still going to be foundationally how you hear things. And I like that. That's fucking nifty for like the producer side of shit. Yo, my favorite interviews are with producers, to be real with you, because I know a lot of the rapper shit. So I like, I go through more of an act with the rappers, but with producers, I'm like, and then he took the tape shit to the tape shit, hey? Magic. Like, it's like, I know it seems so whatever, but like, I didn't even know about all the reels and shit, and I learned a lot talking to producers about like how music got made. And rappers are like, yo, I showed up and I rapped, and I'm like, damn, that's my version of the story. I showed up and I rapped.
That's all I had to do. No, son, it's more than that now.
So it's fun, like, and then just to hear the ingenuity into it, because something I realized is the biggest problem I'm facing is I stopped thinking like I'm broke in 17. And if I thought more like I'm broke in 17, I would have more success in my life. So it's fun to hear the cool shit we all did when we were young and broke.
I'm about to say the same, like young, broke, and had like goddamn dollars in my name. Like, I just, fuck it, like, you just got to get done some way, dude. So I had to get done.
I like
and
it,
and the crazy side behind that, so while I'm doing that, I'm in like 12, elementary school, literally not even realizing I'm actually like doing like my first freelance, because the kids, these get the new books and teach them like, oh, you can design inside your books, and you had the notebook with the clear film in that. Yo, can you design my notebook for me? Can you draw this picture for me? Like, yeah, I can draw it for you. When are you going to lunch? You are cool. You getting some butter crunch cookies? You give me 2 pack of those, I'll draw this shit for you. I'm up here hustling food and snacks and money and shit. I didn't even realize I was freelance. I was just doing it.
Yo, that's blessed as fuck too. You gotta wonder how many kids are really entrepreneurs at like 14, and then something gets them out of the spirit.
Yeah, true.
Because you just gotta think about it. A lot of people had these cool hustles at that age, and that's a hustle, a good hustle. It's not a bad hustle.
Yeah.
Not every hustle is
a bad
thing.
Hustle at all. Not at all. I got me some butter crunch cookies in the goddamn and the mix of everything. I was so happy with it. Right. I did stop. I did have to stop. So I do remember this kid. I did it for him. He paid me. This exchange. It happened. But then I see everybody like, yo, that's dope, blah, blah, blah. Oh, man, you're good. Tell him he's good. And I look, and I see him put by such his name. I'm like, yo, you didn't draw that. I did. No, you didn't. I'm like, is anybody else in here that knows how to do this? And everybody was like, no, I'm literally the only one, and you stole my artwork. Needless to say, he had a bad at the school, and his parents took him to see him because, there's one thing you don't do. Don't mess with my art, bro. And he ended up paying again, and not in a good way. So, no, do not do that.
That's still big. People do steal art, so it's bad when that happens. And sometimes people don't. You see it a lot with memes and shit like that, where somebody writes a joke, puts it in a meme, it never gets credited, right?
No, yeah.
I mean, even if the meme is like free game, often the art surrounding the meme is creative intellectual property that somebody put time and effort into. So it's interesting. So already you're a little teenager and you're a producer, You're learning to rhyme with the sillies, which is fair enough, man. You're like 12,
Yeah.
13. You ain't supposed to be going on the all hard shit yet, you know.
Not at all.
It's kind of disheartening when you see a 12-year-old that's spitting hard. You're like, shit, you're 12.
Like, God
Shit.
dang, he's killing it.
When I was 12, it was like Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that too.
I was-
Definitely that.
I mean, for me, it was mostly Super Nintendo. It wasn't like I had a whole lot going on. So it's like, damn, you have a lot going on already, and you're like 12. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess high school must have been a lit experience if you're an artist and you're a rapper and you're a producer and shit. Like, you gotta be kind of the bee's knees for a minute.
So, high school. So in high school, I really wasn't like producing yet. I was just, messing around. That was like the one time I was doing. I really wasn't thinking about producing. Music, it was still a part of me, but I really wasn't into it like that, the way I thought it was going to be. The art, different story. Running with it. That was like my main thing. Even when I was in high school, I was trying to get in an art program. And my teacher was like, here it is, I'm in ninth grade. And my teacher's literally like, you got to be in the 10th grade doing and things like that. I'm like, well, is that where I could take like extra curriculum? Can I talk to the teachers? The principal to skip me? Like, I'm really trying to find a way to get into advanced art because I'm in ninth grade and the art that was being taught to me, I surpassed it. Every lesson that my teacher was giving me, I was crushing it. It was to a point like, I don't know if it was me being cocky or me being big-headed, but there was times that we would come in, I would sit down, he would give us a lesson, I would do the lesson for everybody, automatically get an A+, and now I'm just sitting there, either drawing my own thing, which around this time, was like the big thing was like anime. Anime was definitely being introduced around this time frame. So everybody was learning how to draw the Dragon Ball Z style. Like that was like one of the big things. And yeah, I felt in there, but I still was working on my own style. And I'm like, in my head, I knew that there was more that I needed to learn. And I felt like my teachers wasn't seeing that. Concerning the known fact, I was surpassing everybody in the classroom. I'm just crushing everything. And I'm like, give me something more advanced. Skip me to the 10th grade. Give me the 10th grade book. I know I could do that. It was like, we got to talk to somebody. Nobody really wasn't taking interest. Even when I, talked about it with my parents, it was like, stuff kind of falls on deaf ears when there's 4 other kids. And when you're the middle child. So I was like, all right,
That's fair.
I'm just going to keep studying and going about it the way that I know how. So that's ninth grade year. 10th grade year, I believe at this time I started working. Now I'm like 16, so I'm working. My first job was Wendy's. I'm working and I'm going to high school. And I get hooked up, connected, or I run into this young gentleman by the name of Street Heat. No, I'm lying. Let me take that back. At this time, his name was 6 feet. When he sees this, because I know he is, he's going to be mad. I love you, bro. Don't worry about it. You're a part of the story. So, was it difficult to study and work in the same time? Yes, the hell it was. God, it was. It was like, I'm going to school to get an education, but then I got to turn around, get up, go to work. So you got to imagine I'm coming to work smelling like fries and Frosties and shit. And like people like, yo, can you bring me something? No, that's not how I work, dude. But whatever, So, and I'm working, and the purpose of me working was not only like to have money in my pocket, but I was helping my parents with my 2 younger brothers. So I go from a student role to an employee role to a big brother role all in one day. This all happens in one day. And this was happening to me for a whole year flight. And just, what's your favorite thing to draw ever? What was my favorite thing to draw ever? Besides my own characters, when I was drawing, my favorite thing to draw was actually Batman. Believe it or not, Batman had to been
I
around
believe
that
it.
time like one of my favorite characters. You know, and then I'm pretty sure I was looking at it. I think he was my favorite character in a different manner that he was everybody else's favorite character.
I
I'm
would
almost certain everybody.
hold on. I would love to hear your elaborations on that thing. You may have been elaborating, but I just had to make sure we elaborate on why you liked him versus the other one.
Viper 27. Holy shit. Damn it, we have Pastor Jones in here. God damn it. I just realized the name. What up, fool?
That's dope. What up,
He's supposed to
Viper
be at
27?
work. What up, Trey? So, I know, right? Yes. So, wow. So, the reason why everybody probably look at Batman or idolize him, look up to him, because, of course, the movie, the show, the cartoon, even the game around that time frame. And it was like, oh man, Batman's so cool. He got his gadgets and stuff like that. You know, he got money. He get the girl. It's not why I was looking at Batman. That's not why he was my favorite at that time. The reason why Batman was my favorite, and I believe this is a precursor to what I'm doing now. In Batman Returns, when him and Catwoman, Cocaine, was at the party, it was a masquerade ball. Everybody was in costume, but they wasn't. And that was the joke. That was the trick. To them, they was in costume. Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle was their costumes. That was their mask. Batman and Catwoman, that's who they really are. So I'm like, you know what? I understood that part. Like, I like that part. And Batman has it in his head. Batman is really him. Bruce Wayne, that's his alter ego. You know, everybody like Clark Kent's alter ego is Superman.
Right,
no.
right.
Batman's alter ego is Bruce Wayne. And I'm like for a minute, it took me a while to grasp that concept. But when I heard it, I understood, but I just couldn't get it until I think I had to be like a good 19 when I seen that movie again and that whole scene played again. And at that time, I like, you know what? I fucking get it. I understand. I understood into why. And my mind was geared towards that way of thinking. That's why I look at Batman the way I do. You know, like that. Like Bruce Wayne in his mind is, you know, playboy. He's a sport brat. He's insecure about himself. He hides behind his money and all this other stuff. But Batman, that's the person that everybody fears. That's the person that, when his name pops up, you know, people like Howard Wayne and stuff like that, he's respected and feared. And that's you feel a certain way. Well, he felt a certain way when he donned that cape and cowl. This is me. This is who I really am. So when people see the golden face, when people see Exo Skeleton, that's how I am. My name, what I do, that shit is respected. Like Fat Joe said, I'd rather be feared than loved because the fear lasts longer. And I understand that part. So when people see Exo Skeleton, when they see the golden face, it's like damn, yo, you cool and stuff like that, blah blah blah, and I respect and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, that's what's up, confident. But the regular person, my alter ego, is like, it's a typical dude from Beemore. I got locks. People think I smoke, but I don't. You know, unfortunately, I do fit the stereotype, but that's not it. That's not the guy. I'm not that guy. So that's why Batman is like one of my favorites. That was long and drawn out. I'm sorry, folks.
Dude, that is the whole point of this. That was so cool. There's a part of me that's going, that shit is a good clip that might get clicked on more than a lot of other clips. Just because that was so fascinating. Like,
oh, man,
I never thought about it. It makes a lot of sense. And it's a fucking good justification for your entire character and how you look at the world. Like, I'm super into the idea of artists and superheroes effectively being the same thing. Like, we create characters. I'm totally the opposite. I much prefer being myself with my superhero alter ego being that. but I love the idea of it being the other way around. But I totally
Right.
fucks with this whole thing. I fucks with this whole like way of seeing the world, and it's so fucking cool. That's a cool question while we're on it before we go back to your story a bit, because trust, we're going to go back. But Ishmael wants to know, what's your top 3 animes? And we may as well do it.
Oh man, so my top 3 animes. Alright, I'm dating myself because I'm almost certain it's something that a lot of people either seen or don't know about. Alright, in no particular order. Go 13, Ninja Scrolls, Crime Fighting.
Shit, I've heard of those, which is how I know I'm getting along too. I haven't seen them, but I was in like the college listening to people talking about that shit.
Awesome ass movies. I
That's
love
fresh,
all
man.
of them. Like, if y'all love anime, definitely go look at them, especially Ninja Scrolls and Go 13. Oh my god, those man. You want to see some good sword action scenes like old school? So Ninja Scrolls is definitely the one to go to. You want to see a hitman get ass and kill? Go 13. Can't go wrong with that.
I love your passion. It's truly great. It's truly fun to talk to you. Like, you're on that Sir
Thank you.
Tizzy level of fun. I don't know if maybe it's from where you're both at in life versus where I'm at in this world, but yo, I don't know. It's like you guys work together, maybe. I don't know. There's this common energy that I really, really fucking like. That's all I gotta say about that. But we can go back to like your story a bit. You're honestly a very impressive teenager. Kudos to putting your family first like that. Not everyone does.
Yeah.
Other people choose other paths in life. So the fact that you were noble enough to like focus on that whilst working, you know, because it wasn't just that you had the job and put the money and dipped. It was you played the role of brother. I don't know if everyone heard what he said there, but that's actually a very big thing to say. That's some role model shit, taking care of his shit, you know, probably got to deal with some bullshit that most people don't want to deal with shit. So I just want to say that I think that was worth you mentioned it. It was worth highlighting in case people missed it. I think the other stuff was a little clearer. So are you also squeezing art and shit outside of school into it? Because then I can see how like it makes so much of a difference for you at the school. If the rest of your life is that busy, it might be like you don't have as much opportunity to practice in other places.
I did, but then I didn't. I do distinctly remember there was times where I was like working on characters. You know what? No. Yeah. Art was still a major thing. At this time, I was starting to learn about like inking, coloring, of course, composition and stuff like that. And I even came out with my own comic book company, like how you got Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Image, and stuff like that. So I had mine. Mine was called Death Angel Comics. To this day, I still remember how my logo looked. I fuck around and sketch that shit out while we talking too. Oh, I have a drawing pad. Yep, I'm gonna do it. And I was learning how to do like character sheets. So you have, you know, like Cyclops, real name Scott Summers, his height, mutant ability, first comic book appearance, things of that nature, his strength, his power, endurance and stuff like that. I was learning how to do stuff like that. So I was starting to give my characters more life. You know, like one character that I created, GoldenEye. I forgot what his real name was. He was 5'9", weighed 200 pounds. He was from, of course, Baltimore. His mutant abilities was to manipulate matter. So that means he could create anything. He could create a weapon out of anything, like out of thin air. He was a telepath. He had superhuman strength. The one thing me and my brother did decide to do, though, we didn't want to totally copy off of Marvel. So Marvel had mutants, and then DC had metahumans. I forget what I forget what ours was called. But our power base was we had like how mutants had that main ability. So we had our main ability, and then we had sub abilities. We got the idea from watching the X-Men episode where they went to the Savage Lands, and when they go to the Savage Lands, all their powers is cut off. So there's no superhuman strength, there's no octopus or nothing like that. You're literally just a human in the savage lands. So me and my brother sat down and went talking about what happens if our characters was to end up there and our mutant powers get cut off. But then we have sub abilities that can't be touched. You know, no matter where we go at, you're like, you know what, fuck it, that's what we're gonna do. So that's really like we was definitely finding ways to separate ourselves from Marvel slowly but surely.
So y'all made passive abilities?
Yes.
Like effectively, like the video game perk of passive abilities was your like way to go about this. That's cool.
Thank you. Like we always try our best to move away from Marvel as much as our style came from it, and as much as we looked at the cartoons and stuff like that, we move away from it as much as possible to be separate. So I definitely would still find a way to do art, but I also was starting to get heavy into the music. So 10th grade, 16, 17, first rap name, Precision. That was my name. So Precision, please don't look at me like that. Precision runs into 6 feet.
I understand where you're at. She looks at me like that too.
Yeah, she see. So that part, we bump into each other, we get connected, we start talking and stuff like that. I just so happens that we live in the same neighborhood. He's around the corner from me. We start seeing each other more, we start connecting more, we start talking more. And he tells me that, hey, why don't you come spend the night one night? I'm like, oh, okay, fine, fuck it, ain't nothing going on. So I come over, we're in the kitchen, he's like, hey, I got some beats. You trying Cypher? I'm like, oh, shit, you spit. Like, yeah. So we going back and forth. I remember this shit like it was yesterday. We were spitting off the instrumental, the money, cash, clothes, money, cash, clothes. What? I remember that shit, and the beat was just playing. We was both just start going in. He kicked it off. I'm looking like, dang, no nice as shit. So we going back and forth. Like, we was up the whole night just ciphering. I remember that shit like it was yesterday. So it went from that to me introducing him to my brothers. So at this time, me and my brothers, we have our own little rap group. They're called Lockdown. Yes, Lockdown. So it's Precision, Bravo, and Dirty Guns. My 2 younger brothers. I swear to God, when they see this shit, they want to kill me. I don't care. So please don't look at me like that. So it was, I like, yo, this is my homeboy, 6 feet. We all get in the cypher. It's like mad. I think like a good 12 beats passed. We was just rhyming. And next thing you know, we all sat down. We was like, yo, we should form a group. Like, all right, what's the name of the group gonna be? Like, how about FOF? Like, FOF? The hell does FOF mean? Like, Faces of Fear. Like, oh shit, I like that. I made the logo for us because at this time I'm drawing my ass off. I created logo for FOF. I still remember how I used to do that too so well, and it went from 3 members to 12.
Oh,
in a matter of months. Yeah, it jumped up fast to the point that the people around the neighborhood thought we was a gang. Like, people was pointing us like guns. Like, yo, y'all keep playing them, get them FOF boys. We said about like, we are MCs. What's this? Why y'all pointing us like gangsters? We ain't no gang. It's just a bunch of dudes that know how to spit. That's it. Like, hey, people were scared of us. So I'm like, I got guessing plays in my favorite guys. Fuck it. So it was, man, it's a fun ass days. I distinctly remember one day we had, like, me and my brothers, some horrible misfortunes came our way. And we left and we came back. We reconnected with everybody. It was on a summer night, on a Friday. It kind of feels like how the atmosphere and the air feels right now. I'm in the living room and the windows open and it feels mad good outside. And it reminds me of this particular situation. So I go to visit my homegirl, and we sitting there talking, and I see my brothers, like my two younger brothers, my homeboy. Well, he changed his name to Street Heat at this time, and they are going from corner to corner, from house to house, battling people. I mean, running up in that house, battling, smashing on people, like throwing beats on everybody that lined up, getting killed. You went on the corner, jumped in the cypher, started smashing on people. Went up on another corner, jumped in the cypher, started smashing on people. I'm like, full on battles, like what is it, URL battles type stuff. Like, this is what's going on around me. I'm sitting here talking to my homegirl. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? So, but they're doing it like they just going around the neighborhood battling people, and everybody's losing. What are you going to do? I'm sitting here, I ain't gotta do nothing. Yeah, man, that was a fun night. It was going around beasting. I didn't know. Baltimore, Maryland. That was a fun night, man. Them guys, they was catching bodies everywhere. God, scary stuff. But I didn't get involved. I was like, you know what? They don't need me. They got this. It's all good.
So you just vibing like that. You're just there in the presence of watching the massacre go down. But that's got...
Yo.
So what's your takeaway from that? Like, you see something like that happen, right? What is, like, the life lesson that, like, stuck with you, that impacted you from that moment, right? Because that's got to be something where you're like, nah, I don't want to be that. Or, you know, like, something like that, you know? Like, what was the thing that you took from it?
I was looking around like, my squad dope as shit, yo. Kind of invincible right about now. Like, what do you do? Like, no, I'm gonna be real honest with you. At that point, when I was watching the fucking onslaught, like the lyrical bloodbath going on, I'm just looking around like, I got this odd feeling. I got an odd feeling to be doing this sooner or later. Like, lyrically, I'm good. But as far as battling, I really didn't battle like that. But after seeing that, I was like, I feel like that's going to happen to me. And it did. Multiple times. Man. Yeah.
I respect
that's going into, I want to say, almost 20-year-old Precision. Well, I wasn't even Precision at that time. No, I'm lying. I was still Precision at that time.
So, okay, so you finish high school, and then what happens after that? Because that's where usually, like, life starts in some direction or another.
So, unfortunately, I didn't finish high school.
I should maybe ask that question.
No, it's perfectly fine. It's okay. It's a learning experience. So, unfortunately, I had to drop out. I had to do my job full time to take care of my brothers and stuff like that. Again, this is around the time where the unfortunate misfortune came in my family. You know, it's one of those days where, you know, life hands you a deck of cards. Like, these are cards that I was dealt. Okay. I had to learn how to reshuffle that shit and try to do something all over. So it was a learning experience. And also around this time is where, you know, the guy Street Heat, you know, the bond with him and my brothers, you know, he went from being the neighborhood friend. He went from being my homeboy. He went from being my best friend to my brother officially. Like, him and the guy Tone, who was another member of the FOF. Those two, they held me and my brothers down at that time. Boy, it was like, those guys, they're forever here. Like, you know, they say we're brothers through bond. That's a bond. That's something that happened, that transpired. That shit, I forever hold those two in high regards. They are my brothers. I can't call them, my best friend or my homie. No, those two are my brothers. And also this time, music generator comes into play. So, my father loved Street like a son. So he takes me, Street, and my brothers out to the movie theaters, go see the movies and stuff like that. And they came out with the music generator. But prior to that, we had the demo. And Street was playing that thing like crazy. He wanted that thing like so bad. So when we get there, we get to Suncoast, and my father buys it. But here you go. We had it. I was like, yo, here you go. Gave it to Street. Like, yo, take it. Handle that. Do whatever you need to do with it. It took this dude, I want to say like a week later, calling me up. Yo, come to the house. Gotta let you hear something. Boom. Put the PlayStation on, played the beat. I'm like, damn, yo, you made this off of a game system? Hell yeah. I think he played like 3 tracks for me that night. So wow. I'm like, oh, all right, that's what's up. So he got nice with it. He got a copy and gave us the copy back. Now everybody in the house is making beats. So all my brothers making beats. Street is making beats. I once did not touch it. The idea for me was to only write, and that was it. I wasn't supposed to do nothing else. I was just supposed to be an MC, just like everybody else. And one day, everybody left, and the PlayStation was still on, music generator was still on. I'm just sitting down looking at it. I'm like, let me try something. I learned how to sample. That was my first time sampling the music generator. My first sample that I used was Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. I distinctly remember that because I love classical music, like Beethoven, Mozart, Chopin, Bach. Listen to all that shit. That's my like my meditation music. Like when I'm drawing, that's what I listen to. So I played it, learned how to chop it up and stuff like that because I was watching everybody do it, and I made a beat. And I was like, damn, it was dark, but I loved it, So I did the stupid thing and just left it up and left out the house. When I came back, it was playing. And it was like on a loop, and everybody in that bitch vibing like, yo, who the fuck made this? Like, no one knew who made it. And I'm just sliding in the house like, oh, shit. I should have got it written that because I don't want nobody knowing what I know how to do. And it was like, yo, you made this? I'm like, yeah? Fuck no. And I just started doing it more. Didn't want to. But I started like liking it a little bit. So competition popped up. They was like, all right, we need one person to just make beats. Who would that person want to be? So everybody made a beat. And then everybody played it. No one said who made the beat because we had some of the homeboys come through and everybody was judging on some American Idol type shit. Everybody was judging and listening to it like, oh, this one's dope. Like, oh, yo, whoever made this, they could use some damn work and shit like that. I'm just sitting there like, all right, whatever. I'm not paying no attention. They heard my beat and everybody just went ape shit nuts. I'm like, I kind of see where this is going at. They picked that beat. They're like, whoever made this beat is going to be making beats for the group from here on out. I mean, it's like, damn, everybody went crazy. Like, yo, I knew you made it, yo. Blah, 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 blah. And then that's next thing you know, I'm the producer for the group and shit. So it's between me and Street.
That's crazy.
And it was...
Do you hear what he just said there? Like, did y'all listen to, first of all, PlayStation beat making contest, American Idol winner. That's kind of that's a lot of things packed into like one story. That's blessed.
Man. Thank you. It was wild as shit, man. I didn't want to do that. I'm like, come on, because I was still drawing and I was still writing and I was like working on my universe, working on my stories and stuff like that. And here I am getting sucked in to making beats and writing rhymes. So that happened.
It's like, oh well, I'm too excellent at multiple things that I have to go and pursue this other thing.
Yeah,
but it's super fascinating because like Aesop Rock has a song where he's basically like, I used to be a visual artist and now I'm a rapper lamenting on what my life would have been like if I had gone down the path of visual arts and I miss it.
Wow, yo, I'm gonna have to go back and look at it. Wait, ASAP Rock, really nice.
Like Aesop Rock, not like ASAP Rocky, but Aesop Rock, the one on Rhyme. That dude.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm
I
gonna have to
think I
listen to
said
that.
it poorly, but yo, that track was like interesting to listen to because it's like, yo, you get to these points in life sometimes where you have to make these choices where you want to do certain things. Other times it might be smarter to do other things, and they're all dope, but you always want to do that one thing that you always want to do.
Right.
So we like,
I'm
so you're
no,
basically
go ahead.
also drawing the entire time you were doing this, and were you still doing things
Yes.
like bringing Marvel characters into battle with your own characters, or had you evolved into just having your own characters battling with your own characters?
Yeah, that was the ticket. Had my heroes, had my villains. That was all. That's it. Whoever the lady with the faces, hey, how you doing?
That is my girlfriend's face, so we decided to make her face
Nice.
an emote. That's your lady friend Bonnie. So we just throw the Bonnies up sometimes because I think it's preposterous because she's like, nobody's ever going to want to use it. And I was like, oh yeah?
Oh,
And
come
it turned
on.
out everyone wanted to use it. And I'm like, I don't know why. There she is. She's like, lol, every time this comes up because this is fucking hilarious to me. And it's like the more she's like,
Love it.
nobody wants to use it, the more people want to use it. And then her face flies all over the screen. And it's like, it's my girl's face. I like it. That's a good face
Yo,
to
that's
me.
dope as shit. That is fucking dope. Oh my god, that is so awesome.
She's awesome.
Yo, that's serious. Wait, hold on. Let's see if it's
It's
I'm
a
trying to see. I don't think I have it on mine. Nope, that sucks. That's great, man.
Yeah, I appreciate her. But it's also like she's part of the team. She did a lot of album reviews with me, like a lot of them.
Oh
Like,
wow.
so we're gonna do another one soon. We've just been, this interview shit's way more fun and other things popped up. No offense to the review crowd, but we're gonna do them. But like, this is mad blessed to me. I'm having a lot of fun on this. So she's like part
Same.
of everything. So like, I don't know, it's her face and it's fun.
That's great.
It's like when I play a video game, I'll make a girl because I'd rather just stare at the girl booty. That's just what it is. It's my preference.
That's real.
So why would I put my face there when I could put her
True.
face there? I look at her face. That's what life looks like to me.
Yo, wow. That's real. Damn, this could be you. I don't mind. If you do make me emoji, I want to have my mask on, and we could just go with that one. Don't do this. This is not a good look. Let's do the mask.
Yeah, the mask thing is fucking blessed, but you should have like both. You should have like a whole thing where like at $25, because like the big one is $25. They get the unmasked version. Motherfuckers willing to put up $3 a year, they can have whatever they want.
That's awesome.
Um,
That's serious. I like that.
But yeah, so tell us a bit more about your more evolved universe, because I mean that's as interesting to me as the music, to be honest.
That's all good. That's all good. Oh, trust me, the music starts to get very interesting.
Well, no, I think
Going
they're
down.
both. Well, what I'm saying is they're both equally interesting things to talk about. Not that like neither is. You're so far very interesting the whole way through, right? And I know shit's gonna pick up,
Thank you.
but I'm just like, who invents entire universes of superheroes and supervillains? Like, well, everyone makes music, but who does that? Like that's how I'm looking at it.
True. And you know what's odd? It's funny. No, this will actually be my first time actually talking about my own comic book universe. Wow. So at this point, and again, I have to constantly keep bringing in my older brother, Doc,
Big respect.
because he definitely plays a big role in all of this, because we was both like we was making he had his own universe, and he was intertwining his with mine. So I made this shit first. I don't care what nobody said, and I didn't know nothing about no copyright and no shit like that. But I made Ninja Assassin. I had a character, not a movie. I literally had a character named Ninja Assassin. And when I seen the movie, of course, naturally, I'm like, well, I'm pissed. But super pissed. But I had my characters that was like Batman, no special abilities, no mutant powers, but was like fighters and stuff of that nature. We had our female groups. My brother had a group of assassins, females, and it was called Brought Up Assassins. And his main character, her name is Black Death, Cynthia Jackals. I remember that shit, and she was a monster. We had a group. Well, he had a group called Three Man Threat: Napoleon, Janair, and Snapper. So you got your fire, weapons expert, and brute strength. Then we had a group called Shade, superhumans against devastating evil. So it was like, and we was just going everywhere. We was touching on everything. We had story arcs, like how Marvel had the Mutant Massacre. We had our own issue. We had our own storyline like that. It was so much. We had our gods. We had our celestial beings. We had our demigods. We had our own version of Morlocks. And then we called them, I think it was like Super Dwellers or some shit like that. Something like that. I can't really remember all the way, but we had all that shit. Right now, currently, my universe has evolved and it's going in a different area. So it's still superheroes, it's still with superpowers, but it's more, I want to say it's like more mature, not so superhero-ish. Like the main character, Black Dagger, he's based off of me to a degree. You know, three-piece suit, all black, red tie, half mask on, fedora hat, use weapons, daggers and stuff like that. My lady, she's the protagonist, but the antagonist, but love interest at the same time. Lady V, strict, hardcore, hardly say nothing. You bet your eye wrong, she kills you. It's exactly how it goes. So, and she's an excellent writer. She can write her ass off, and she helps with how the comic book universe that have. Yeah, she's awesome, and she helps with how the world is going now currently.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. I think it's more fun when your partner is involved in your shit. It just makes it all more meaningful.
Definitely.
And I think it's so cool that your protagonist is based on yourself. I think it's so cool that you have all these different things. And I was kind of listening to it, and it's like, damn, man, it's almost like coming up with superheroes is like coming up with wrestling staples for reals. Because if you didn't tell me, like, I've always known about the correlations, but if I just closed my eyes and I just started picturing wrestlers as you were talking, you know, like, I wasn't superheroes, and I was like, that's so nifty how, like, intertwined these concepts are as they play out with the storylines and whatnot. I love this shit. I think it's so cool because it all ties back into hip-hop, which is another manifestation of characters playing out in storylines and shit. It's like albums are kind of like story arcs and whatnot. It's so fucking nifty how all of it kind of like, and it actually just kind of blends and makes sense. And you see traces of both wrestling and comic books all over hip hop.
And that's exactly how I end up tying in Precision, one of the characters from my universe, and I dawned out, like, you know what? I think that'd be a dope ass rap name. So I think I'll snatch that. And again, seeing how the Wu, like Method Man, Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider, I'm like, oh shit. Ghostface, Iron Man. Like, oh, okay, so it works. You know, I seen Daytona 500 for the first time. I was like, wait, that is Speed Race. I'm like, oh, these dudes like a little heavy to the shit. Like, all right, fuck it. Here we go, Precision. Let's rock with it. And it definitely worked. It helped. And that whole battle stuff that I told you about, yep. It came along. Along came the Spider Boy. I did. Man. All right, so story time. Here we go. All right, so I was with my uncle. Now this got to be, so we're moving up in the world. I'm a young 20. Let's say like 20, 21 at around this time frame. The name Precision is still relevant. And we on the bus, we traveling. I was bumping into one of my homies. And, you know, he's part of the group. He raps. Awesome. So Yeah, she is awesome writer. Donald said you're an awesome writer. So she said thanks. So we on the bus, and I see one of the homies. Now also side note, around this time, FOF has this thing. So Street Heat and my brother Razor X, well RX the Great, they formed TA, which is short for Team Arson, and I created the faction with me and my brothers. So see one of the original members of FOF, and we on the bus, we all talking and chopping it up, and he felt as though it was okay for him to show off in front of a group of females, and he called me out lyrically, and I'm like, yo, I mean, he was really like trashing me. We all on a bus, like you going the same route I'm going, like we both doing the same thing, but you like really going off at me in front of these chicks. I let him have his moment. I mean, he was going, and I'm like, okay, all right, that's what's up. I did nothing. I wait till I got home. I put on Jules Santana. I can't remember the name of it, but I remember the beat because Just Blaze made it. But that beat was like knocking hard. I'm trying to remember what the chorus was. Anyway, I love that beat so much that I just let it play, and I just let it play, and I just let it play, and I just start writing, burning up the composition book. I wasn't saying nothing. I was just going in, and my uncle looking like, yeah, he looked like he pissed, and I finished it. I don't think it was 32. I think it was on 64 bars. I just straight manslaughter. And I just kept going over and going over and going over. Like day to day, I would wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, just getting this verse embedded in my head to the point that I could just jump on the mic and spit it whenever the hell I want to. And that's what I did. I hit up Street. I was like, yo, I'm coming up the studio to record the song. I'll tell you about it when I get there. He's like, all right, come on through. So I comes through. It just so happens the guy that this song was meant for was on his way over. I'm like, fucking perfect. This is going to be great. So I tell Street exactly what's getting ready to happen. He got this look on his face like, yo, are you really getting ready to do this? Fuck yeah, I'm about to do this. So boom, the room get full. The guy come over and shit. He knows that, we kind of like, we're not really speaking right now, but hey, what's up, yo? It was good. All right. I stood up. I was like, yo, throw the track on. Put the headphones on, and I just start spitting. Everybody go crazy. I'm like, Street, stop the track. Took the microphone, put that shit in front of him. Like, all right, now go ahead and just start ripping his ass right then and there. He just looked at, I mean, I'm going in on him. That track was perfect. So I swear I wish I had it. Man, 64 bars destroying this guy's soul. Only for him to respond back once like a month later. And it was like 8 bars of cussing me out and like 4 bars of spitting. And it wasn't even all that. I'm like, damn, you suck. You just waited that long just to respond back with that. Like, and then later on down the line, I learned that he was on his way to get signed to Universal Records. But because of the battle between me and him, he stopped rapping for 2 years.
Wow. I feel like that is quite literally bodying somebody's career. I don't know how many people can quite literally break down some shit like that. That's a clip there. That's a clip. How Exo Skeleton bodies careers.
Yeah. That. Look. You don't fuck with me, okay? When he came told me, I was like, yo. I had to apologize to him. But in my head, I really didn't give a fuck. Like, I honestly didn't care. I was like, you know what? Don't do it no more. That's all there is to it. I played the song religiously, too, which is fucked up. Like, every opportunity I had, I would play that shit. Let them know, like, yeah, I was talking about him.
I'm not gonna, listen, I'm not gonna, I, in my soul, I relate and feel it. And that makes me like you more.
Awesome. But that's not the last time I would do something like that though. The next go around is
Nah, but like
that is way worse.
even the most noble of great men have to sometimes do what they have to do to remind people of the repercussions of an action. And it's an awkward thing to put and vocalize, but yo, everybody that ever steps out to try to do anything is going to encounter moments where they must occasionally demonstrate their ability to be quote unquote gangsta AF.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It was one of my it was a crowning moment when I was young. I felt bad, but now that I'm old, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that started the
but he started it. It wasn't like
he did.
And if you listen to all the legends, there's this one thing I noticed they do. They are never the aggressors. They are always gonna slaughter you in defense. This sounds like somebody put you in a position where if you did not respond, there are repercussions to you on your honor in the big picture. Because then forever he could say, "Yo, remember that time?" And then there's no response. So you were left with no choice. It was just proper tactics of what to do as a person in this industry. There's no violence. It was just pure showmanship.
Yep, pure lyricism to let him know, like
showmanship, man. You got the whole setup with the guy in the room and everything. That is a story.
Oh yeah.
That is more than just lyricism. That is like you took it to a level where guy knew that it didn't matter what he said because he could never beat that moment. That is a moment you created, my guy. That is so much bigger than just, that's like a put respect on my name level moment.
It was. It really, you know what, now that you said that, it really was. And then the fact that I end up doing it 2 more times. Like the last time I did it was actually 2 years ago. The last time I would do something of that nature, but on a far large scale.
I look forward to getting into that.
Yeah, we'll talk about the second and the third one. I'm gonna save for last. That shit was beautiful.
Nah, everything is sequential, right? Like that's how I do my whole shit. You notice I don't try to rush ahead. In fact, if anything, I constantly reel people back in. I'm like, nah, we'll get there. It's cool. We're doing good now. This is so good what we're getting. I mean, I feel like honestly, you came in at the place it normally takes people like an hour and a half to get to. And it's made this extra fucking fun.
Awesome. Oh, so I get some water.
Man,
you walk. My apologies.
Everybody on the Twitch life knows what it is. It's like we used to it. It's the internet. It's like it's not like we live in this world where water magically comes very often. At least not often. Sometimes if you're really nice and you ask, it comes sometimes. But you got sometimes.
I would have asked her like, "Hey, can you bring me some water?" But she is probably looking at AEW right now.
Oh, big respect.
And I'm gonna get an update soon. So normally I'm looking at it right now.
Do you hear that level of consideration that Exo Skeleton puts in? Consideration. He didn't want to inconvenience her. Wow, big respect, my guy. Big fucking respect like that.
I try, man.
That's what we can do. Just try. And I like it. I like it a lot. So I guess you're in your. How old are you when you bodied this guy? Like early 20s? I don't know exactly.
I want to say like probably like 20, 23, 24.
So at this point, you're basically got your comic universe flushed out a little bit. Are you still making? You've become the beat maker. Thank you so much for coming through, Viper. You do your work thing and do that. It's always more important.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate
always
you, man.
More important. Don't even get me wrong.
Thank you, bro.
But yeah, and then it's like, so you're making beats, you're rapping, you're doing all the things. So how you doing live shows at this point?
Tizzy, I end up sharing that story with Tizzy and Brian Lyrics. I think like the first official time we sat and started writing, we was writing for the song Round and Round. Yeah, I told him about that, and yeah, he was like, "Oh, I do my thing."
I had the same thought. I was like, yo, Exo's not gonna be bodying me anytime soon.
Oh shit, no. No, if anything, I'm glad Sir Tizzy is on my team because yeah, that guy, he's something special. We took a ride out DC, and from the time we left to the time we got out there, I want to say I played just like a block of my instrumentals, half an hour. Tizzy was on it, bodying, no stumbling, just spitting. I'm sitting in the back seat like I wasn't even going to try to jump in. I was like, yo, he just kept going like, you know what? Fuck it, let him have his fun. He was going off. I'm sitting at that point. I was like, I am so happy he is with me because God, I don't feel like that's a whole different kind of battle. I don't want that. I don't want that. So
Yeah, I like Sir Tizzy too. He's a fun guy. We had a nice long conversation, and yeah, that was a good Monday. That's all I can say. That was a fucking good Monday. But all right. So yeah, did you do a bunch of live stuff at that point, shows and whatnot?
so around this time, I'm still doing the artwork. I started getting into wait a minute. Yes. So I started working at the local clothing store. The title that I had was store manager. Who the fuck am I managing? I'm the only one in here, but whatever. So store manager slash the graphic design artist. I was like the lead design artist. I'm the only one in here. You're not getting your artwork from nobody else, but okay, whatever. At this time, I'm almost certain I was really starting to get my feet wet into the real world of doing graphic work and freelancing. And I was also airbrushing as well. So doing like custom shoes, shirts, and stuff like that because I was working with someone at a mall here called Mondawmin Mall. Mondawmin Mall was like one of the hubs for airbrushing, getting custom stuff done. So I worked in that area. Music wise, I was just starting to do shows out Brooklyn, Maryland. It was a spot called Club Taste International, and they had this thing called Rock the Mic. They had it like every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month, and I was a regular. I mean, traveling back and forth all that, which is I think it was like an hour ride going back and forth. But I did this for like 2 years straight, so it was to the point where I was starting to earn a name, and people were seeing me like, "Yo, you jumping on stage?" Like, "Oh yeah." If they seen me at this Rock the Mic, they seen me that day. They knew I was jumping on stage. It was like no question. And also around this time, as far as a producer, I was like really starting to find my groove, and I was submitting my beats to Strictly Hip Hop 88.9. They had a test band segment. Producers you could either send your music, your beats, or like songs. I was only sending beats because I really didn't have no way to record it at this time. So I was just sending beats. And my first time doing it, I lost. Naturally. I'm like, all right, take a shot in the dark. Hope you make the shadows bleed. Apparently they didn't. Life lesson learned. But I'm still performing, getting my feet wet, jumping on stage, killing stuff. Also around this time, the name Precision is completely gone. I am no longer Precision. I had to let go of the name. And that's because the producer group called the Executioners, one of the members' name is Precision. He has legal rights to that shit. I'm like, I don't, so I have to get rid of it. I can't carry that name. So now I have to find a name. And I distinctly remember me and Street, we had our regular rap names, then we had producer names. Mine was XO, like the drink, and his is cognac. Because our beats will get you fucked up. That was our frame of mind. Why did we think that shit? Who knows? But it was cool to us. So my name was just straight X-O. And I remember someone opening up, they wanted to open up a clothing store and have different artists on board to draw stuff on demand. And when I went in there, you know, the lady was like, what's your name? I said XO. She didn't put XO. She put EXO. And I just stared at her. I was like, that's not my bowl. Hold on. I was like, oh shit. I never thought to fucking spell it like that. And then I thought about Exo Squad. I love that fucking cartoon. I love Exo Squad. So I'm like, damn, XO. And I'm really saying that like I do need a new name. And I just can't use XO. XO. I'm like, what the hell is that thing called? The exterior of an insect. What do they have? Exo Skeleton. I'm like, oh shit. That's the name. I'm gonna go under Exo Skeleton. And then so XO is actually an acronym, which is Excellent Organizer. So boom, there you go. That's where the name came from. Also, the name is also modeled after one of my favorite animes, the Guyver. Because the Guyver has what, ladies and gentlemen? An exoskeleton. Boom. See? You learned something today.
I love that. I like the way you break shit down. It's a cool name. You're very good at this storytelling thing, which is fun.
Thank you.
And so why I say it's fun is because sometimes MCs and rappers are not good at actually telling stories about their life. It's not that they're bad storytellers, but they're bad at the life stories. They're okay with the like pre-scripted artist stories, but then you get to the life stuff and it's like, bring that charm in. And
right.
It's almost like they can't code switch into it. You're like, fuck that. This is a whole experience because my life's the alter ego.
Yes. See? There we go.
Man. I fuck with it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Nah, I'm having a great time. Yo, did you think about making an album concept about a superhero / have you done that because we didn't get there yet?
No, I'm lying. I did think about that shit. I did think about that. Ghostface, he has 2 albums called 12 Reasons to Die, and it's on some comic book superhero shit. And he also has 36 seasons, did the same exact thing. And I'm looking like, yo, I think I wouldn't mind doing something like that, a comic book concept-based album. So it did cross my mind to do something like that. But yes, that's a good question. I was thinking about that.
That is a good question. One of my favorite rap songs is Secret Wars by the Last Emperor about superheroes versus rappers.
God damn it, you are the fucking truth, because I was about to say something about that. That is my favorite.
Just gotta give him the props for that.
Oh, awesome. I love that fucking song. Oh my God. When I finally found it, I was in the bathroom taking a dump and it popped up in my head like, damn, yo, what the fuck that song? What was the name of that song? And I YouTubed it. And I just played that bitch on repeat. Like, yo, I love it. I remember late nights listening to 88.9, hoping I heard that song. And there's a part 2 to it. There was a part 2 to it. And that shit was just as good as the first one. I fucking love that song. Thank you, Ishmael. You are the truth, sir. Because, God damn it, I love that song.
Wonderful guy to have in the comments.
Yes. He is very underrated. Very, very underrated. Damn. That shit took me back. It's just fucking time. I just jumped in the time portal just now. That was awesome.
That's dope. We like time portals over here because then it goes to all the fun stuff that nobody's ever going to talk about usually. And that's why it's fun. I mean, it's not that people don't talk about it. It's usually just not the stuff you find. I got really bored with a lot of interviews with artists and stuff. I'm like, nobody talks about stuff I want to talk about. I'd rather talk about your comic book universe and all the other weird shit. And, I never asked, unless I get asked by the comments, I try to avoid questions like, who's your favorite rapper? I'm like, sure, cool. But, it's, easy to get that from a million other interviews and shit. So let's go run with the comic book universes and all the other fun life story shit. So it's fill the wiki page in my head. That's how I look at this, all the chapters and blocks we can add to fill out the wiki page, at least in my head, of who you are as a person, or at least Exo Skeleton. Right. So it's cool.
Right.
But all of that stuff too, if it organically comes up that people love shit, sure, that's fun too. Don't get me wrong.
So I actually found a beat that I smashed the first guy to. It was Jules Santana, the Dipset anthem. I don't know if I
Mm.
play this shit. It might get flagged by Twitch, so I'm not going to do it.
You know,
But
you're
yeah,
good. You're good. You can play it, and then my dude's gonna like,
this beat.
yo, Chris, edit this out.
I killed his ass to this fucking beat. I remember that shit. I destroyed him. Great Scots. I gave that man a hard way to go in life. I didn't realize I did all that damage to him until he told me. I was saying, like, God damn. I'm like, why if I could do this shit again? I did.
I love it.
Damn it, I did.
Nah, you got a great energy to it, because you know what? It's like greatness, and you know what? It's coming from a place of you put time and effort into everything you did. And it shows. That's what I take from it. So man, when folk like you proceed to talk about all the dope shit that happens, especially with the comic book level humility, it's quite enjoyable. I happen to at least find these to be the more fun kinds of interviews. Because we're an hour and a half deep and we're not even like anywhere. We're still in like the inception phases of shit. Okay, that's fresh.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's dope.
That's how I see it. So you bodied a guy. You're doing the stages. You're at the point where you're submitting beats to the radio thing. I think it's the radio.
Yes. Yep.
And you didn't win at first, and then I don't know what happens. I guess.
So I didn't win. Kind of sort of discouraged, yeah, but I was still at it. Unfortunately, my comic book world takes a back seat because now I'm getting into the world of doing graphic designs. So taking on like doing tattoos for people, doing logos here and there, nothing too big, like little small stuff. Doing designs for the guy that I'm working for downtown, for his clothing line. I'm creating designs and stuff like that. So, I mean, I was still doing the comic book stuff, but not as deep as I was. And also, I gained a mentor from the church that I was in. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the whole time I was doing this, I went to church religiously.
Yo, were you
every
singing
Sunday.
in choirs and shit? Were you involved?
Not at all. That is not happening.
Yo, so you gotta ask, man. I found out there's a whole grind of the church. There's what I call the church grind of Montreal.
Church grind, yes.
Because if these people went to the same church that had this bless ass music program, and effectively it creates the environment that youth centers create with open mics and shit. Only it's gospel music. And then no one's looking, you get a little jiggy with it. So like all these people turned into hip hop artists. So there's a whole collective of these artists that come from this so it's like, to me it's fascinating, and there is literally a church grind in Montreal.
Nice. Yeah, man. I was in church. I was part of the youth group.
The youth groups are blessed.
Yeah, I was part of the men's ministry. I didn't sing, but like when we had like special events for like we say for Mother's Day or something like that on Men's Day, I would be in the choir singing so low that you can't hear me, like in the back. But I was there, so I was there, and that was it kind of this played in my favor. By me being a church member and part of the youth ministry, and everybody in that knew that I knew how to draw. A lot of my clients, when I was airbrushing, was from the church. So can you imagine on Sundays, you see this little dude in the back with a bag doing the fucking handoffs. The person giving you money, you giving them the bag of shit like a goddamn drug exchange in church. Like, no, it's just t-shirts and I airbrush. That's all. And I'm just so happy we meet up on Sundays. Sorry, that's no other place that we thought about. Sitting in the back, getting a blessing and being a blessing. See, that's how it operates. My pastor like, what are y'all doing back there? He ordered some shirts from me and I'm getting the money from him. See? Because they thought I was doing like drug deals and shit. Like the people started like telling my mother, like, Sister Diane, you know your son back there? like handing out packets, doing drugs. Somebody was like, well, he's not. He's doing t-shirts. Like, what are you doing back there? I'm selling t-shirts. Come on, man. Making a good living though. Like, I'm walking away with like $250 every Sunday. It's awesome. The hell? Like, damn, I wasn't expecting to do this. This is great. But still doing the music at the same time. But it's like my art started taking over more. Like, I was still MCing, let's go on the shows, and like, you know, here and there, like me and my brothers would put songs together. But airbrushing and designing. So now we getting into me working downtown and working out my Mondawmin. So now I'm doing airbrushing and I'm designing designing the clothes, like doing designs, putting them on there. Then I learned how to use the vinyl platter, dealing with vinyl, using Corel Draw to make the design, print it out, heat press, put on t-shirts. Like, this is stuff I'm trial and error. Like, the guy that I was working for downtown, he wasn't trying to teach me this shit. So I taught myself. I was learning, looking at him, watching what he was doing. Like, sometimes he would give me like the pick designs because I had to put them on the t-shirts before the store opened up. And I'm like, well, how the fuck did you print this out? He would show me how he printed it out. But he wasn't showing me, like, he was like, oh, you just hit this button and boom, it happens. Not showing me that's literally a whole fucking process. That's the only thing he was showing me. And I taught myself this process. Way before I knew anything about looking on YouTube or Google, I was just watching and doing this shit through trial and error. And I'm walking, you know, he come in the store, remember, airbrush, designing clothes. So I'm taking what I'm learning from airbrushing, and then I'm applying it to this guy's clothing. And I'm started making my own clothes. I had like a black t-shirt with blue and yellow splats on it, but then I created like this bird, like phoenix with a crown, like on the top right of my shirt, and that got the blue and yellow color on it. And people looking like, damn, where's that shirt at? I'm like, oh no, this is custom. I made this. And like, oh shit, how much you charge? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Shit, $20, my dude. Like, oh shit, make one and I'll come bring the money. And then the guy that I was working for, he was getting mad about this shit. Like, I distinctly remember him telling me to not tell nobody that I was the one making these designs on his fucking wall. And me being young, naive, not knowing the game and shit, like, oh, okay, I won't. You know, and then people like, yo, whoever the artist is, this shit is like Ed Hardy quality. And I'm like, I'm sitting back like, wait, yo, that's me. I did this. Like, no, that's not you. I had to pull out my drawing, but like, yo, look. Like, oh shit. You know, and the guy that I was working for, he came like, yo, why you do that? I'm like, man, I gotta get out there too. Like, yeah, I'm working here, but ultimately my idea is to like put myself out there. It's like he didn't want that to happen. So all this shit was going down, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, you out here working from 9 a.m. to 9 at night, 6 days a fucking week, only to get $125, and you're not getting no percentage from the designs that you make it, and you're getting the designs for free. This is a bad look. I didn't have nobody to come along, and yes, I was like a close writer. Yes, I was. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, I didn't have nobody to. She's on it. I didn't have nobody to come. She is. I didn't have nobody to come along and like guide me. Like, I had a mentor, Brother Paul. But as far as the business aspect and stuff like that, I didn't have nobody to come along to guide me. I literally had to do the shit on my own. So, and I was playing my instrumentals where I was working at. Not only that, like rapping, I got in a couple battles. Nothing to yell about. Of course, I beat them, but I'm like, But this is my it happened. But this is my art phase. So the music was there, but it really wasn't. You know. So I had to make a conscious decision. Am I going to keep working for a person that doesn't appreciate my gifts and my talents? Is going to keep using me the way that he is? I'm going to fucking leave. I left. I told him, I was like, dude, I need more money. And I broke everything down to him like, yo, you literally have your own workhorse here, and you're paying me a trident layers, my dude. Like, this is bullshit. Like, like, yo, I literally banged out 65 t-shirts front and back within a 3-hour span with no problems. So I gave him my ultimatum. I was like, either you pay me more or I'm leaving. His words was, treat me like the white man. I said, if I did treat you like the white man, he would be paying me more. We would not be having this conversation. I took the damn keys. I felt like I was in a fucking wedding. I was in a marriage. I took the keys, put the shit on the counter, and bopped. Took my drawing book that had his summer, winter, spring, and fall setup. I went from designing images on a t-shirt to doing full on like designing clothes, like not just your typical t-shirts and sweatpants. No, I'm really designing shit for him that was getting approval from his business partners, but he didn't know about it. Something told me to keep that shit close to the vest, and I knew I did the right thing. Like, I literally had his collection set up in the drawing book, and I sat there for countless days. They all had 10 different designs a piece. For each season had 10 different pieces of clothing. We talking about sweatpants, hoodies, t-shirts, velour jackets for men, women, kids, all that shit. And I just took it with me. He fucked it up. And I never looked back. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta like do something for myself now, because that's too much.
So,
and that also was the birth of the first iteration of Red Designs. It was originally called Red Fox.
So I think it's like interesting on a lot of levels. First of all, I think you're the first clothing designer person I talked to. I might be wrong, but to the extent that you've described, nope, not anybody that's doing that level of shit. So kudos. That's super nifty.
Thank you.
It's part of why I was shutting the fuck up. I'm like, this is all novel information. I got nothing to contribute on this part. But then I started going, yo, that's some big time exploitation. And if it happened to you, it happens all over.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really glad you shared that shit, because I don't know a lot about that. I've never thought about it. I'm sure a lot of people don't think about it. I'm sure a lot of us don't question who designs what, who gets the credits, and never even thought at one time about checking into that things, because maybe everybody's a closed ghostwriter and not a lot of people are getting the credit they deserve, because it's not by choice, unlike how it works in other industries.
Right.
Like, nobody's selling bars like gun to your head type shit. You know what you're doing.
Right. Right. You just got to protect your energy, man. Like, being an artist, graphic artist, or freelance artist, it's not easy, and you really got to be. If you don't have the legal knowledge, if you don't have like a strong support system and people backing you, motherfuckers will try to hang to take advantage, to steal, and like snatch every ounce from you and pay you nothing. Like, yo, artists, comic book artists, graphic artists, we get no fucking respect. You think producers don't get no respect? The beat makers? Nah. Nah, they get way more respect than we do. That's the goddamn truth. Like, they gotta fight for that. No, we gotta like cause wars. I'm talking about like world wars. I'm talking about like, either we're gonna take you to court, or we're gonna show up at your front door like the A-Team type wars. It is horrible, man. It is horrible.
That's fair. I don't ever think about designers who makes the albums. So if I'm never even think about it, and I'm like trying to be mad open-minded about credits, I know who makes my album art. I think about them, but
Right.
but I don't actually look at other people's album art and go, that person is also equally part in some, well, not equally. I don't know if I'm going to go with the album covers equal, but definitely a part of the bigger picture of this entire album experience or single experience. In some cases, it's the landing page. So it's totally part of the process. And I never really go, who's the ill designer? Like, I could not list 5 industry designers' life depended on it. And that's probably not a good thing.
Don't feel bad. I'm starting to get into it. I'm gonna have to start like putting down names of some LA's graphic arts designers. One of the people, I need to find out who the hell this artist was. But the first time I really started paying attention to an album cover, Liquid Swords. That had to have been the dopest fucking album cover I've ever seen. I was like, wait. Like, yo, is that just taking somebody's head off? God damn, this is dope as shit. And I'm looking like, yo, it's comic book. Yeah, I need to do the same thing. Like, Liquid Swords, that is by far one of my favorite album covers. But next to Pink Floyd's.
I don't need to interject, but Lindell is saying he's got to dip off, and he wants to know your top 3 MCs, and he knows I won't ask unless he makes me.
Top 3 MCs. This is going to be probably wild, but in no order. Inspector Deck. Currently, right now. No, I ain't gonna say currently. Inspector Deck, Lupe Fiasco. Number 3. Black Thought. There we go.
I fuck with your list more than most of the top 3s I've gotten. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. That's a cool list.
Thank you.
I didn't really care much about Inspector Deck until that group Sarface or whatever. I think he's in Sarface.
I fucking love Sarface.
And then I reviewed a few of their shits and I realized how much I like Inspector Deck. And I'm like, oh, he's dope. I fucks with it.
That's my dude. I fucks with Inspector Deck.
Lupe, I mean, shit. I don't have to explain anything. It's Lupe. If you
right.
you either understand what I mean or you're like, fuck out of here. And I respect that. I do. I really, really do. But the man invented a fucking fable in the modern era and told it through 9 tracks across his album. Get the fuck out of here if you don't call that greatness.
Yo, that's dope as shit, y'all. I fucking love him. Okay?
Yo, he's a great artist. And then Black Thought is impressive to this day from the very first time. So, I mean, it is what it is.
God damn. That man. It's disgusting. I love it.
Sometimes
any rapper throw a missile at anybody throw a missile at any rapper coming for me, I'm gonna throw a missile back. When he said that shit, I was like, God damn, okay. Shit. Scary. Fucking love it.
Alright, so in your early, let's say, what happens next with your career after the sending off beats MC phase that you were describing there? What is the next like elevation point? So you're doing the work, and then you're involved in the clothing, you dip out the clothing. That's where we're at in the story. I caught up. So what comes after that?
After that, we go into my... Damn, I didn't even mention my first album. Fuck.
Wow, when does your first album come? We should probably talk about that.
So my first album, Under Precision, happened in 2002. Shit. Yep. It was okay. I could tell you this much, and to this day, I'm trying to salvage or find it. That album, that was a very angry young man. My first album was called The Magnificent Butcher. I did draw the album cover. It was me, cornrows, looking like a damn samurai. I had like a microphone going around my samurai gear, and I had one sword coming out and shit, and one arm looking like looking like what's the name of the fucking anime? Sword of Truth, which is how the album kicks off. So, yep.
Yo, my channel badge is a Sword of Truth.
I'd love Sword of Truth.
No, it's not from that. I mean, like the thing, my little symbol for my subscribers is a sword that has the word truth across it. So it's
nice. I fucking like that.
Just anytime I hear Sword of Truth, I'm like, this shit's fire. It is one of the most powerful. It's the most powerful thing I took from the Bible, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shit is. Yeah, I do live by that. I like that shit. That's pretty amazing. It's great. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, that the Magnificent Butcher was definitely. It was a good learning experience. It was a good song. I mean, a good project. But I just remember me being super angry. You know, lyrically I was there, but I could hear the anger. I was like, yeah, there's something wrong with that kid. So that was my first under precision. But now that we're older, we get into Exo Skeleton. And Exo Skeleton's first project. Now around this time frame, oh man, beats. I done won a test band multiple times. I even hosted. I ended up hosting it like twice. Artist Takeover. You know, I'm a regular at Morgan State. But still, was like a regular at Taste International. To the point that, like I said, whenever I walked up in there, I knew who I was. Made a name for myself there. Started getting to know people in the underground circuit, in the Baltimore underground, Baltimore hip hop circuit. What else? Let's see. Test band winner. I graduated from college, Test College of Technology, and I'm doing AutoCAD.
Okay.
Yeah, another form of graphic engineering.
Just so the people know out there, that's the engineering shit. That's what you make blueprints and crap in.
Yep. What else? I started recording, working on a new project. Me and my brothers, the faction, we went from the faction to ICF. So ICF is short for Iron Curtain Family. So we working on that, and I'm working on my project. So now I have my solo project under Exo Skeleton. The name of this project is called There Is One Amongst Us. And this project was good. I do love There Is One Amongst Us. But I knew I was more mature, but I knew I was in a different area in my mind. I was super creative because I listen to that shit now versus what I listen to with my beats now. I'm like, wow, I knew I was in the creative space with this one. I'm starting to do more with Photoshop. I started getting into that more.
Yo, that's a great question. If we can just stop, because I might forget to ask this later, but I was super curious. I saw you on Audio Mac and not on Spotify, and what's the reason behind it? Because I have no idea what the fuck an Audio Mac is and why you're on it.
Okay, so the simple question to that was money. I didn't have the money to get my stuff on Spotify. There we go. It costs money to put that stuff on there.
That's a good answer. And you know why it's a good answer? Because not everyone has money and people need solutions.
Right. So Audio Mac is a free it's like a free way they allow people to put their music on there for free, like either be a mixtape or like a whole project. There's a lot of people that I know that's in the Baltimore hip hop scene that has music or Audio Mac. And I knew besides SoundCloud, I knew that was my other source, and a lot of people go to Audio Mac. So you got Audio Mac, and I know that Piff. I think that Piff was free to upload music on. I'm not too sure, but yeah. Are you interested in putting your music on Bandcamp? I am actually interested in putting my music on Bandcamp.
You should really do that. It is free and easy, and you get paid. So it is.
Holy shit. So that's going to happen. Thank you. You know what? This guy Ishmael, I don't know who you work for, but get this guy a fucking raise. I like him. He
Bro,
is on.
Ishmael's the homie. Ishmael just showed up one day and has truly turned out to be amazing.
Yeah, he is. Salute to you, sir. I fucks with you heavy.
No, it's true, man. He really is. But yeah, he pushes Bandcamp. The breakdown of Bandcamp is mad simple. Everyone else takes out a large chunk of your album sales, and they're like, fuck that shit. And they do have pro services, so they make their money in some way or another, and they take a smaller chunk of whatever you sell. But you upload. I actually have to do it for whatever shit I just put out. I haven't done it yet because it takes a minute. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour, and you upload everything, and you add your credits, and you put your album art, and it's that kind of shit. You know, it's the same as putting it on SoundCloud, and then. Yeah, they only get 15% or whatever. And then you put your price, or you can put it free and name your price. And then you can add some custom graphic shit. My graphic designer back in the day did it to my Bandcamp, and I don't know how he did it, so I just left it. And one day I'll change it. But it's not the right branding, and I know it. But yeah, you can play with that shit. And honestly, somebody might buy your shit, somebody might not, but they can all play it there too. Because it's a really shitty player. I hate the Bandcamp player, but it's very functional for moments like when I'm looking for your music as a reviewer, interviewer person, and I want to play it on stream. Because then it's a flex as an ad that they can come buy it at one time at a subtle level without me saying it. I can just slide the Bandcamp over. I never thought of that before. Shit, I should have thought of that way before now. I started telling people, like, this is a good move. Ishmael, look at that. You got me on board in some way with a Bandcamp play. Ishmael's been pushing Bandcamp for like 3 fucking years on me.
Oh, shit. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to hop on that. Thank you, sir. That's going to be one of the missions for before I go to sleep tonight. Awesome. Thank you. I will be doing that.
Yeah, it's mad simple. If I thought it was literally going to take you longer than that, for reals, I would have said so. But, I mean, you're clearly very capable. If you can use AutoCAD, you're fucking fine, my guy. I work in the PDF industry, so we have to make sure we're compatible with it. And believe it or not, I've seen the documents that get created through engineers with that program. And I'm just like, art piece shit, man.
Man, I can sit up here and tell you some of the drawings that either I had to do or I know when I finally got a job in the AutoCAD, I worked for a company called Spirit Vine Associates, and I had to clean up that work, simplify the recommendation. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Yeah, the shit is intricate. Like I'm sitting out here looking at HGTV with my lady and shit. And whenever they show the floor plans, I'll just be looking at it and I'll be breaking it down. She's like, what does that mean? I'm like, oh, this is this, that, and the third. I'm thinking to myself, like, shit, I still know this. It's so wow. Like, damn, these floor plans looks actually pretty fucking good. So, like, I see it always comes playing back for some reason. I haven't did it in a while, but I look like, oh, shit, that's what that is. I remember that, okay?
No, I feel that. I once dibbled and dabbled with the software because I had access to one of them that wasn't AutoCAD. And I'm like, nope, I'm out. This is hard. I can't. Yo, I opened up 3D Paint. Because if you didn't know, there's 3D Paint on your Windows right now for free. They pushed it on us for a second and the world was like, nope. And then they went back to old Paint. But 3D Paint was weird and I couldn't do anything. I was bad at 3D Paint in a way that I would have needed to watch YouTube videos to get good at. And that, look, you don't want to get good at the free Paint app. You just don't want to have to feel like that in your 30s. So you go back to the old Paint that you're comfortable with. I know it sounds like...
Oh, no, you good. When I found out that, I was like, they got 3D Paint. And I looked at it, I was like, what the fuck? Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I like this. I got excited.
But you understand it. It's like you already play with it. So the truth is, it's just knowledge sets and tools. Like within 6 months, I could be a mediocre designer. I just don't really want to do it because it's not that interesting to me. I much prefer somebody like you who loves doing it well to come up with cool, things that make it look better than me, and then I'll focus on the things I know how to do. And then everybody plays a role that is beautiful to their character. It kind of like a comic book universe has a team of people that each has a specialized
Right.
responsibility, and in a sense,
Right.
that's what a amalgamation of people working towards greatness is.
Right. True. So true.
So like if we
Oh,
go
yeah.
back to like the first exoskeleton project, I don't know if we were in the middle
Yeah.
of that or something. I think we were in the middle of that
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. So, there was a month since I was working on it, getting everything together. Of course, everything, all tracks was produced by me minus two. The two tracks that was produced by me was by Street Scott at this time. So his name changed, Street Scott, and he's still the homie, but everybody like halves is different now. So working on it, getting tracks together, stuff like that. My album cover, my lady, she took the picture of it, and I just did some Photoshop shit with it. I dropped it. Everybody liked it. I started doing shows in the underground Baltimore hip hop circuit. So now I'm performing at Club Sonar and Five Seasons and what's another place I've performed it? Performing Fish Head Canteen, Bourbon Street. Like I was starting to get heavy into it now. Now I'm knowing who people are in the underground hip hop circuit, and now my name is starting to gain more traction. Like people was knowing who I was. Like, oh man, Exo Skeleton, I heard about you. I heard about you from 88.9, being the only 9-time test spin winner with the beats. I went from losing one time to winning a total of 9. So, talk about big leap. Also, at this time, during the beginning stages of Exo Skeleton, this is where the second body come in at. So, this guy I was working with, helping him with the whole music shit. Like we met up, he wanted to do music, I wanted to do music, but he knew a lot more than I do. Like he knew what websites to go to, how to copyright your music and shit like that. He the whole marketing side, he knew this side, he knew this part. So I'm like, all right, cool. We formed a union, start clicking, hanging out, stuff like that. Met each other here and there. I would come over and record and stuff like that, and I would learn different things about editing and stuff like that. And I would teach him different things about making beats, because his style of making beats is, by the program to have the drag and drop, everything pre-made. He's not sitting over there literally making like drum patterns or loops and sampling and stuff like that, and none of that. He just drag, drop, putting stuff together, match. Look at this beat I made. Like, yo, you didn't make that, but okay, that's what's up. You said you make it, you made it. But I digress. So,
No, that's a super interesting distinction. Break that down a little bit more. You're an expert in this field, and we are not, and you're bridging gaps. So I think it's actually important to give the rest of the audience the knowledge to discern the difference with the language of what that means from a place of knowledge. So it's worth doing. It's not throwing shade.
Okay. So drag and drop meaning this. A lot of programs literally have beat patterns and or sounds that's pre-made, and all you do, literally what it says, you find what you like to hear, drag, drop it on the track, and you match everything up. What sounds good together as far as this drum pattern or this melody. That's all it is. There's no going in, doing a whole drum pattern, finding a dope ass sample or synthesizer stuff like that, playing on the piano, keyboard, doing a whole instrumentation, right? However way you're doing it. There's none of that. All that is literally set up for you. You don't have to do shit. That's drag and drop. So.
And then, what's the other side of it? Walk us through actually going through what you would consider making a beat then.
So, as a matter of fact, actually. Alright, so that little bleep sound, I'm in FL Studio, but I normally use to make beats. All right, here we
We
go.
in the
All right,
fruit.
cool.
Dude, that's exactly what it looked like when I made the No Regrets partner beat.
So, so this is what goes into it, and I know this is my setup, and everybody else setup is totally different. So I have my drum pattern, play, goddamn, C pattern, piano roll. Okay. I think it's because I'm under the spotlight. There we go. I don't know how good y'all can hear that. This shit, these computer speakers is horrible. So we got your drum line, um, snares, hi hats.
You're making me want to try and make a beat. This is all the drums?
Yep. Probably can't hear the bass because that shit is low.
No,
Again, these computer speakers doesn't no justice.
I hear like the semblance of what it is.
Yeah. So
I'm vibing, man.
This is what goes into it. I'm talking about sitting here, getting your beats per minute together. The sample. Let me stop this real quick, and I'm gonna say this real quick, and because a lot of people they let's change that back. A lot of people shit on
epic.
A lot of people shit on people that make beats with samples. There's nothing wrong with a person taking a piano or a synthesizer, whatever it is, and making a beat. I mean, making your melody and shit like that. That's dope. But to literally sit here, take a sample, chop it up, and manipulate those sounds that's already in there to create something totally different that you would never like. Oh shit! I didn't know that came from that. Like, come on, dude. That's a different kind of magic. You know, look, I'm a fan of strings and live instruments and everything being composed together and making beautiful melodies. I'm a huge fan of that. Of course, I listen to classical music. I have composers that I love. But that's just different. Like I said, it's a different kind of something than magic when your person could take a sample like Queen, different kind of magic, and flip that bitch and you would never know. Or take Fleetwood Mac's The Change and make it something totally different. Or the Carpenters, If Only You Believe in Miracles, and turn that shit into a club hit. Like, that's something different. That's something totally different. Or Silly Dance, Haitian's Divorce, which is one of my favorite fucking songs, and make something epic. Not a lot of people could do that. There's not a lot of people that could play the piano the way Alicia Keys played, or John Legend, or fucking Beethoven. But there's people out here that can play the piano that does this shit just as good. There's not a lot of people out here that can take We Will Rock You and turn that shit into a fucking love song. There's not a lot of people that can do that shit and do it justice. And they're not out there. So give respect to the fucking samplers. God damn it. I'm tired of y'all assholes.
I don't even know who hates on samplers. I know a lot of people that love samplers personally. So I'm like, yo, there's hate for that shit? Fair enough.
No, you would be fucking surprised they exist, and it is horrible. My God,
like,
damn,
I'm just sitting there, like, literally, I was listening to your music going, wow, it's so crazy how he's using these samples in such different ways than the other ways I've heard them used. That was my appreciation of what you were doing personally, but I've recently been doing this a lot, and some people have explained to me the nuances of what the fuck's happening more in beats. Honestly, even what you did here, it helps like enhance my understanding and anyone else that's watching, like, understand why people do things or what the real art is or all the cool shit with it. You know, like, I'm not saying you have to like it stylistically. That isn't the same conversation as offering the respect of the artness to it. Like, to act like a DJ that scratches and does whatever and creates these semblances and sounds that just can't exist without the tool of, like, the DJ doing his thing.
You know what, Paul is? Yes, thank you. Get a fucking sample or something. Thank you, yo. See, you real as shit.
It's facts. It just seems like it's just fascinating, right? Like it's like people don't necessarily understand that there's more to the nuances of what makes the great ones great than say the one who just like, yo, I'm the worst DJ ever. I just hit play.
Oh shit. Sometimes that's all the hell you need to do. Y'all better enjoy this music and stop playing games. How? I'm gonna tell you to scratch this shit all the goddamn times. Play the music.
Yeah, but sometimes that's cool. But you have to
Some people
know.
don't expect that shit. Yeah.
You have to know how to do the other shit if you're actually good at it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
so
the other shit.
I actually got this shit. It's all good. So I actually got everything up now. So I had to fix my. So, alright. So, patterns. So, boom, played. Alright. So, we played the drum. Okay. So, you got your snare, hi hat, the crash, the cymbal, and the other part, those sound effects, and then the sample.
That's a good loop.
And then yeah, see that's the shit. Yes, goddamn, that's the shit. That's some hardcore hit, not boom back type shit that will make you bop your goddamn head.
Yeah, I fucks with
So
that. I was bopping my head before. I also,
thank you,
this is gonna be
thank
unrelated, but I'm pretty sure we have the same model garbage can, so I like that.
you, thank you. How do you feel when you open a beat making app for the first time? Oh shit. I felt at home actually, and the reason why I got into FL Studio is because it like the format looked so much like MTV Music Generator. It looked just like it to me. You know, I'm like, oh man, and Street, because that's what's one of the beat. That's the program that he uses. I seen him use it a lot. I'm like, yo, what you doing? Like, I'm making a beat with this. What the hell is this? FL Studio. Well, at that time it was called Fruity Loops. Before it was strictly FL Studio, but Fruity Loops. I'm like, what the hell is Fruity Loops? And then he pulled it up. I'm like, damn, is that the music generator? It's like, no, it's not MTV Music Generator. This is Fruity Loops. I'm like, oh shit. And I got my hands on it, got my first PC, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, you know what? This plays just like it and shit. Now, originally, I had Reasons. That's what I started with. And I was using straight instruments. I was teaching myself how to play the piano, you know, teaching myself how to play the synth. I had like a little mini keyboard that I brought and shit, like from the thrift store. Like all great producers, you're not a great producer until you get a goddamn keyboard from a thrift store. You know, it just makes it official for some reason. And I did that. And I was like, I would sit there, you know, play stuff out. You know, again, I'm using Reasons. But then I was like, you know what? I got this FL Studio. Let me take a dive into that. And ever since then, I've been hooked. Like, that's like one of my favorite programs to use. So, which also goes back into, you know, the second time I destroyed somebody. So the beats, I got him. He was like, you know what? If you let me use these beats, I get on copyright for you. It was a lot of money he was coming out of his pocket to do. So I'm like, you know what? It's only right that happens. So it was like, I think it was like 10 in total. No, it was like 5. But one of the things I told him, I was like, look, let me know which one of these beats you're using, so it doesn't clash into what me and my brothers doing with our project. Because I didn't want no beef. You know, I actually wanted my brothers and this guy to work together. So he said, all right, bet that. Now, I didn't have a phone. I didn't like talking to people, to be honest with you. Like, me having a cell phone and stuff like that is a sure fucking miracle. But I had it. But he knew other ways to get in contact with me. Like, you got my email address. You got me on MySpace, which is a big thing at the time. All that shit. Like, you still can communicate with me. He was making songs with the beats and not telling me. And I'm like, yo, let me know what's going on. Again, it's all about respect. You know what I mean? You got the beat, you pay for it. You pay for it to get copyrighted. Thank you, I appreciate that. But please communicate with me. Let me know what's going on. Because I don't want no kind of conflict. Because like at this time, like my brothers, man, they was some goddamn bullies. They was blood hungry. Like this I'm like, you could do something wrong, man. They come at you. And I'm just really just want to keep the peace. And he was like not listening at all, which was bullshit. And also around this time, I would meet my now best friend through him because she was with his group. She was working on her album, and he had told her about me. Her name is Kim. And he was like, this guy's, he's good. He makes beats. He's dope. You need to meet him, blah, blah, blah. Me and her meet for the first time. Kicked it off. She's like, I've been trying to do this spoken word project for years working with him. I'm like, all right, cool. How many tracks you looking for? I think we did like 6 or 9, something in that area. I said, all right, don't worry about it. I made her 9 dope ass spoken word beats. We made them. She wrote to them. The next, we planned for 2 weeks to meet. She came over. We recorded the whole thing in one day. I mixed and mastered it, sent it to her. Her album was done. It took this guy 3 years to get 4 tracks done. It took me 3 to 4 weeks to have her whole album complete. Don't be mad at me because I'm good at what I do. So, the whole beat situation, it was just like, dude, you're not respecting me. You're not respecting me, and I don't like that. So, I gave him a warning. Delete all these beats off your PC, yo. Just get rid of everything. Because now we're not communicating. You're not agreeing with me. And I don't like it. Get rid of it. Because now I just feel like you're stealing from me. And I knew something was wrong because he was. So, it was starting to be a war words, back and forth. And I end up at his house. Now, I walked up in his apartment, and it's him, his group. And I sat down, I pulled a chair up, I sat down in front of him. I was like, if you don't delete all these beats off your PC, I am going to take this keyboard and go right across your face with it. I am not playing with you. He deleted the beats. And it wasn't over. Because then I went home, and I made a diss track. So, let me fast forward a little bit. Prior to all this happening, he decided that it was going to be fun for him to do the stinky leg in his baby mother high heel boots. And I had my camera phone, and I was recording him. And then I just cut everything on. He said, "You recorded that?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Delete it." I was like, "No, I think I'm gonna need this." I don't know why I said that, but I kind of feel like it. And I was fucking right. Because I end up using it. I can actually pull the video up on YouTube right now if I wanted to. That video is still up. I made a fucked up video of him dancing in his baby mother high heel boots doing the stinky leg.
Yo, if you want, straight up, send me the link and I'll share the audio with you and I'll play it for everyone.
It was to Right Said Fred's "I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt," but it got flagged. it got flagged because of the music, but it's still up. So, let's see if I still remember the name. Fuck, Screwface. Yeah, dude, it was horrible. So, I made the video. I played it. I posted. I sent the video to him. I posted on his page. I posted on my page. I found Obama's page. I posted on his. I'm not lying when I tell you that I literally did that shit. I got interviewed by 88.9, but while I was working on my That Was Once Amongst Us, and I played the diss track on the radio station. The name of the diss track was called Rings. And I killed him and his whole group. I was on my Eminem Aftermath versus Ja Rule, Benzino, and Jermaine Dupri. Like I just dedicated like a whole 2 months to killing everything that had anything to do with him. And him and his group, non-existent. They cannot be found.
So now we can see that 2 careers have been bodied. And a squad, so it's more like bodies this time. Now you're just like, you've elevated it. So we've added in some exponential math into the situation. That's
Yes.
Exoskeleton superhero shit, if I ever heard it.
Yep. The third one, and the Polish Shakespeare is that story. Yes, yes. If Polish Shakespeare is still here, the last one has a lot to do. It has something to do with her. Disclaimer: do not fuck with nobody in my circle. I will destroy you.
In general,
don't fuck with nobody in my story. I will destroy you.
Nah, but I mean that's fair. I feel like that's just how people are in general. Like I don't know why people think they can just say and do what they want with no regard to consequence, and then claim this, that, the next thing. That's a side conversation for another time. I guess I could start ranting. I just caught myself, but man, people can be baffling. Is the best way to put it.
Very baffling.
Yeah, baffling is a good way to put it. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm trying to have more empathy in my life. But
I do when it's necessary. But these events, not necessary at all.
No,
I'm a very empathetic person, but this is sometimes, man,
sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and I completely agree with you. There are occasionally people in my life where I get into these moments where I'm like, oh, it's like that, eh? Oh, okay, it's like that. And then you get caught in the vibe of it. And then you wait until the right moment and you do the right things, and then it's legendary. And legendary is good. Anything, I believe, that makes a great story is often worth doing, even if it's at your expense. But it's better when it's not at your expense.
True. Damn it, I cannot find this shit.
That's fair.
It's probably gone.
It happens sometimes. We were hopeful. It was still a good series of stories. Everyone can picture it.
It is.
And you destroyed the guy. You bodied some careers. Exponential growth.
So awesome. If I find it out, if I stumble on it, I'll send it to you. The last guy, he wasn't even work. He wasn't, but you did, Holden.
We'll get there later. We'll get there later, because now we're, in the 2000s and somethings?
Yes.
I just don't know what that decade's really called. The 2000s? Whatever that decade's called.
The 10s, the 2010s. And this time, so around this time, I am in between 2 new projects. One is unfortunately, me and my brothers, we had this thing where we was trying real hard to do a full group album. Now you gotta remember, it's 5 different heads trying to come under one roof, and it was super difficult. It was difficult. Also around this time, this was our first time opening up for a major act. Now I've done showcases, performed and stuff like that, open mics and shit like that. But my brothers, they really haven't had a chance to do that. So this was me like, all right, I'm going to expose all of us to it. So we opened up for Capadonna, one of the original knobs of the Wu-Tang Clan. And I swear to God, I kind of felt bad at the end for Capadonna, because by the time it was time for him to come on, a good chunk of the crowd had left. When me and my brothers came on the stage, man, I swear we had people rocking from the front to the back, to the left, to the right. That whole place just erupted. We was in there going off. And goddamn, before we even jumped on stage, you could hear Wu-Tang's Triumph, which is one of my all-time favorite songs. That shit was playing in the back. The instrument was playing in the background. You just see us in the back going the fuck off. When they called us to the stage, man, we killed it. We killed it. So that happened. And now I'm working on, since we couldn't do a project together as brothers, we decided to make two separate groups. The first group was the Chrism Guards. So it's me and my two older brothers. So now we got Exo Skeleton, Lazarus Lex, and the Man of Bronze. As a matter of fact, on Audio Mat, when you was playing the Black EP, that album that was right there at the bottom right, that's the Chrism Guards' first project called Vanguards, and I drew the front cover.
Mm.
9 tracks, Vanguards was good. So Vanguards is centered around another one of my favorite movies, The Boondock Saints. A lot of this stuff is like I might make mad skits from the Boondock Saints on the Chrism Guards. Like the way that it played, like once I finished everything, I let my brothers hear it. They was like, "Yo, that shit hard from beginning to end." So whenever every St. Patrick's Day, it's a religion. I will play the Chrism Guards and I will look at Boondock Saints. Just to hear everything together is fucking perfectly done in my eyes. It was like that was a good album. That was a good project. A lot of stuff came from that. We had 2 singles. The Hot, the Cool, and the Vicious, and I think it was Suicide. There was like 2 singles. The Hot, the Cool, and the Vicious. My brother, the first verse, my brother, the Man of Bronze. Yo, you want to talk about lyrics? You want to talk about a lyrical person? This dude, he has his way of saying shit that, and once you hear it, you're like, wait a minute, where the fuck did you get that from? He's known for using a lot of Bible verses, but you really got to pay attention to catch what he said. And one of the things that my brother said, and it resonates with me to this day, he said, "For every Jesus, there's a Judas. That's why I keep my eyes on my team, decipher real from the fake. Snakes hate what I do. They want my throne at all costs." I'm like, God damn. That was real as shit. But he's telling the truth. For every Jesus, there's a Judas. Meaning for every person that was chosen to do something amazing in their life, there's always a friend that's going to take them down or backstab them. The person that's the closest to you is typically normally the first person to take you down. So you got to keep your eyes on everybody, no matter what. So that was a life lesson from that one. But I'm ran off track. My apologies.
No, this is perfect. You're being wonderful. This is what we want.
Oh, thank you.
Your alter ego is delivering excellently.
Awesome. Hi. Mission complete. So, so we in the middle of doing. I'm in the middle of doing the Vanguards, the Chrism Guards Vanguards. That's done. I shot my very first music video. From off of my project. There's one amongst us. So I did decide to shoot the video. The first one was called You May Die. That's the last track on the album. And it features Street Scott. God, I hate the video. Like, I was like, when you want to talk about early, you want to talk about the beginning phases, look at You May Die versus Fighting Forces. You will fucking see the growth. God, I hate that video, but I did it, and I did it with a smile on my face. I used Adobe After Effects. I didn't know shit about After Effects. I just know it's a difficult ass fucking program to use. And it took a lot of
fucking program.
I hate it, but God is so good and He's used so much of your process. Remember, like, if you don't have a good video card and RAM and memory, you're fucked. There's no reason you should be using that shit. It was a good. The video was okay. God, I hate it, but the song, that had to have been one of the most realest songs that I've ever penned. You want to talk about pain, passion. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to write something the way that I wrote with "You May Die." Like, I actually performed that in my church because it started as a poem. It was originally a poem, and I wrote it, and I performed that shit in my church, dude. And like at the last verse, I just broke down in tears because I felt what I was going through when I wrote that shit. Like, you want to talk about a person that didn't feel like he needed to live, you know, suicidal, like people just stepped on him and didn't know where he wanted to go with his life and nothing was going right. It was just damage from years of bullshit that happened to him. Everything was in this particular song. And I'm like, damn, I don't think I'm able to do that again. That you want to talk about catching lightning in the bottle? Yeah, that was like the only time. Cause I was in a super dark place when I did that shit. Like I was ready to check out, man. That was it for me. I couldn't enjoy life no more. I just didn't want to do it no more. And "You May Die" was that was my exit song. That was my exit song. Like, time to close the curtains one last time. You know, take my last bow. Go into my dressing room. The claps is going to fade sooner or later, and I'm gonna fade right along with them. And that was the mission. That was the aim. But I knew in my hearts of hearts it couldn't end there. You know, I was literally met for something else. All this negativity and this hate and this pain and this anger and this bloodlust and all this shit that was in my mind. This can't be it for me. There has to be something more. There is something more. You know, and I just kept running with that idea and that thought. So the music was starting to be more therapeutic. My artwork was starting to suffer. Not a whole lot, but enough to the point that the only time I would do something would be, you know, an album cover for my brothers, or if somebody needed me to do like a design or a logo. That's the only time I was doing it. So I started so around the time when I was working on Vanguards and the Hellfire Club. So now I'm working on 2 projects. I was doing the graphic work, doing videos. God, I hate that video. And I was getting into silkscreen. So we got a microphone, we got a computer, we got PC, we have a vinyl platter, and we have a silkscreen machine. Then we got a press machine. So I'm in this room, and I have all of my art and stuff surrounding me. There's no social life. There's no fun. There's no none of that. It's just work, 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 work. So I would sit here. I would make a beat. I would make like 2 to 3 beats with like in a half an hour. I would go from there, start sketching out a design. You know, my comic book world, it's not non-existent, but it hasn't moved. It's just sitting there collecting dust. Now I'm just strictly doing like graphic designs, t-shirt designs and stuff like that. So now I'm sitting up here banging out designs and stuff like that, like t-shirt ideas for different people. Go from that, practicing on doing the vinyl plot and, you know, making my own t-shirts. Now I'm not even going in the store buying graphic tees like people go to Walmart and shit like that. Graphic tees, what the fuck is that? You mean like this? You mean like this one that I have, the one that I created myself? This shit. I don't go to the store. I make my own. Yes. It says I have a habit. It's not a box of cigarettes. It is a box of pencils. This is for all my writers. So I don't go. I can't. If I'll go in the store now and I'm like, if I can make it, I'm not going to buy it.
That was one of the best plugs I've seen anybody drop.
I am a walking billboard. But this is where my mind was at around this time of, you know, the early stages of Exo Skeleton. You know, I'm seeing myself as my own brand. I'm seeing myself as my name. Like the whole doing the music videos and shit. The purpose of me doing the music videos is so we wouldn't have to go out there and try to find someone or pay someone to do these videos for us.
Yeah, I
You
get
know,
that.
we didn't have the money. Everybody had family. Everybody had bills. So now I'm sitting up here like, damn, how can we get ourselves out there? Who can we go to take a group photos and stuff like that? Who can we go out there to do album covers? Fuck, who can we go out there to go and like, yo, we need a music video, blah blah blah. Because I gotta be that guy, and that's what ended up happening. You know, I brought a video camera and shit. I got After Effects, and that's how I ended up doing the videos. It was the person me doing it was for my squad, was for the group. That's all, and that's it. I don't outsource it. I don't like outsourcing shit. I'll do a graphic for you all day. I'll take a picture. I could do all that shit. But you want me to do portraits? You want me to do a video for you? I'm not doing that shit. I could deal with people for doing my artwork. I don't like dealing with people on levels because people suck. And I might break your neck here and there. I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. I don't do videos, bro. But I do videos. Weird, right? So... And also,
it makes sense if you're following that. It's really just you want the artistic control, the visuals of your own brand and those around you, and therefore we can't afford to get what I really want done right with the people that are within my budgets. I must compensate to get the best quality project without the frustration of dealing with inadequacies of what I can afford, mixed with, yo, this art shit's a completely different thing, whatever.
True. Bet that. See? Somebody that gets it. And also around this time, the renaming and rebranding of Braun Fox turned into shit. It was strictly red around this time. No, it was Red Armor, my apologies. So it was just strictly Red Armor. And of course with anything, I do my research. And I went online and I checked. I'm like, all right, let me make sure nobody has his name. So I don't want to write any copyright issues. Surprised, nobody owned it. I'm like, all right, bet, dope. Now I got to make a logo. And I had a different couple of ones that I liked. I'm like, they're okay, but it's not nothing I'm going to scream. But like, oh, this is up. Even the original logo, I can pull this shit up right now. It was like a samurai, like side of his face, and then red armor on the side. I'm like, that's okay. So now we have Red Armor, Vanguards is complete, Prism Guards. The Hellfire Club is next. People yelling at me because they want another solo joint from me. It wasn't in the cards. I'm literally pouring a Dr. Dre Detox out this mug. You know the great myth about detox. When we want to get another detox? It's not happening, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't happen. Maybe it happened multiple times. You just didn't know it. Other people has those beats, and that's what I was doing. I was like making beats for my next project, but I gave the first 9 for the Vanguards was part of my original project. The next 9 for the Hellfire Club was a part of my next project. Never happened. So, and also around this time, I would meet by mistake one of the members of the guild, Mr. Brian Lyrics. Inadvertently, I met him first, it was funny how that happened. But I would bump into him. So that was early 2000s. I'm trying to figure out what else happened. Oh, a whole lot of other shit. I was part of my first mixtape, instrumental mixtape. It was called Bangin' Beats. So I was part of Bangin' Beats Volume 2, created by Marge Beats, who was actually a fucking monster. He's good as shit. I was on that. I was on the Test Spin. They had a mixtape called This Is Not a Test, where all the Test Spin contested winners had their songs on this one mixtape. So that was dope. And I was part of another mixtape called Heat Scope, created by Prince Bilal, and I did the album cover for that. Oh, and I would pop up on TV a couple times because I performed at Taste International. I had my music playing down in Indonesia. I had my music playing down in Australia. The Indonesia one was interesting because the guy contacted me when Reverb Nation was pretty big. He hit me up. He was like, "Hey man, I like your music. You mind if I played? I'm a DJ in Indonesia." I was like,
You were the first person to even mention Reverb Nation in a sincere way.
God damn. Awesome. Yeah, I know Reverb Nation get a lot of flack, but hey, at that time, that was the only thing people had, and they just gravitated towards it. So.
No, with all the hate that Reverb Nation gets now, in 2012, I uploaded music to Reverb Nation, and it was like, it mattered a little bit. If you were able to get into the top 20, 30 of your local little city on any one of these charts, other people in my city would like at least give you a little bit more of an eye look or something, like, okay, like, because you're like there with their name, because they're looking at the same fucking chart. So like, it just was a way to actually network a little bit by accident. It familiarized myself with certain people. And in 2012, everybody and their brother was on Reverb Nation. Okay, everybody was on Reverb Nation. We all have songs still on Reverb Nation. You know how I know? I logged in one time. I got moved up to fucking number 1 or some shit, and I was like, no fucking way. And then they start giving you that. No, check it. So you move up to number 1 when you log in. The next couple of days, you start getting the ads as you start declining slowly in the charts. Then you drop to like 20. You're still getting the little ads, and you decline further and further. And then I'm like, there's no way other motherfuckers are I uploaded a song to Reverb Nation. Nobody uploaded a song to Reverb Nation that was on these charts, okay? Nah, it's all fucking fake, okay? I bullshit on Reverb Nation's current algorithm.
So I call bullshit. This is a goddamn lie. Hating asses. But yeah, I had my shit up on that. And it was interesting that the guy hit me up. I was like, yeah, go for it. He hit me up probably an hour later. I was like, oh my God. Man, people in here was going crazy over your music. I'm like, oh, that's what's up. No, he told me he was a DJ. I was like, all right, that's what's up. He's like, yeah, man, people was going crazy over your music. Like, man, I'm from Indonesia. Huh? And I looked them up. So fucking enough. Indonesia. I was like, holy shit. Y'all understood what I was awesome. They love hip hop down there. That shit felt great. No, I'm pretty sure it's not in the blow a horn that people like, I got my stuff playing in Great Britain and Japan. I'm like, oh, that's what's up. But for me at that time, I was like, wow, hell, that's dope. And Australia. So it's pretty cool.
To this day, I still love it when I see anything that's not Montreal in that list of places that play my music, and I still see people sharing it like, big ups to the whatever, and it's always like 4 spins in like some random country, and it's like, on the one hand, I empathize because I am that guy. On the other hand, it's like, I don't know about sharing it, but I am that guy, so I totally feel like I want to share it, okay?
Right. Like, you know what? Yes, take. Awesome. Just fuck someone one time. There's something wrong with that. So, yeah, that's early. I'm going to say that's like a little bit more advanced EXO. So that's still the 2015, 2016, 2014, 2015 gap. So now, the next phase, older. So now, we getting into 2015 to now, current. So now, I am working at Joseph Bank men's clothing store, working on music still, doing a shit ton with my art. No, backpedal a little bit. Let me not jump so far ahead. So I end up doing 2 more videos. They're better. One of them was from That's Wrongs Amongst Us. This track is called Erase. Shot in Graffiti Alley. Erase has to be one of my favorite songs from off of that project. Alley? Graffiti Alley is exactly what it sounds, what you hear. Whatever you think, if you think that it's an alley full of graffiti, you're absolutely right. It is literally an alley shit full of graffiti, and it's like an ever-changing terrain. You'll never see the same artwork there. Like if you see it there that day or that week, you're not going to see it the next time you go up there. I promise you that. And it is like, oh my god! I think I shot 2 videos. As a matter of fact, the one video, the Guild, which is our first video, Rush the Line. We shot that in Graffiti Alley.
That's fresh. No, I really appreciate that. And then we see Abasa521 going, laugh my ass off, facts.
True bill. So
I fucks with how you see the world, man. I like that a lot. I fucks with that
thank you,
lot.
sir.
But yeah, I don't even know what that means. Sometimes you respond, sometimes you don't. You just roll with it. But let's go back to what you were saying prior to that.
So I did Erase. That was the first one. The second video is Revolution Music, which was awesome. I love Revolution Music. Oh, that song. The crazy thing with Revolution Music is it's only a video, it's only a song, it's a single, but I never did nothing else with it. I didn't even put it on a project. I think I just did that because I know people were zapping out at me about not releasing another project. Like the Black EP is my first project since There's Once Amongst Us, which was in 2012. So we like fast forwarding, and it was in I did the Black EP. I think that was in 2020 when I dropped that one. Yeah, it was on my birthday in 2020. So yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, that's where Revolution Music came from. So all that. So now we getting into 2015, and we're going to coast into now. we're eventually going to end into the now. So 2015, music is still a big thing. My art is starting to pick up a little bit, not the way that I thought, or not the way that I wanted it to, but it's picking up. So now Red Armor is called Red Designs. That's the new name. I'm like, all right, so this is the name, and I'm gonna stay with it. I made a logo for it and everything. The word red actually has an acronym. I'm gonna get into the acronym because it's 2 different versions of the acronym, and I had to make a professional version. So we'll get into that. But the music side, I'm performing, doing shows yet again, still open mics and stuff like this. Again, I said I met one of the Guild members. I met Brian Lyrics. And then I ended up meeting Sir Tizzy. I met him physically during a wrestling event, but the way the group got set up, where all 3 of us was test band winners, George jumped on Twitter and said, hey, it would be nice if the test band winners could like collab together and make like a group, a super group. And she tagged me, Brian, Tizzy, and RC at Kness. And shit, we was all game for it. Like, you know what? Screw it, let's do it. So I think we all met up on Twitter or on Facebook. And Tizzy, he not only gave up their name, but he also coined the phrase, believe it or live alive. So what the name of the group when we call? He said the Guild. I'm like, fuck, there we go. That's the name of the group. So it would go from, that, then we made a group chat, and we just all start talking and stuff like that, collab. And we did the first song, which was Rounds. I'm not Rounds, my fault. Rush the Line. No, Line. Round and Round. There we go. That's the first one. So we wrote to it. I would meet Tizzy and Brian. We would all meet up. We met up at Tizzy's house. We started writing. The shit was there. The way everything happened, the guy Baltimore Sun sent the beat. We heard the first 2. We heard the first one. The second one is the one that we like agreed on, and we just killed it right then and there. Like how everything happened was fucking beautiful. Also around this time, I would end up meeting the talented and amazing Polish Shakespeare. I met her through Brian Lyrics. That's Brian Lyrics' best friend. I met her at one of Brian Lyrics' photo shoot. video shoots that he had called What's Love. He wanted me to be there, so I showed up, and that's when I met Polish Shakespeare. That was crazy because I had seen Polish Shakespeare a couple of times. I even seen her name thrown around in conversations, but to physically see her and interact with her, like she's an awesome person. Like she's awesome in real life. Like I like her style. So all this was going on, and I'm still working on the music and working on my personal life and family and stuff of that nature. And also, this is around the time where I lost my father, and he was a very, very important figure in my growth as far as in being an artist, rather than artistically or musically. He always had my back. Like, I'm okay, whatever, you're good, shut up.
You are good. I heard your stuff. I can say that.
She's a very modest person, and she gets on my damn nerves because she knows she's good, but she's like, oh no, I'm okay. And then she have her moments like, yo, I'm a fucking beast. Like, yeah, that's cool though. I'm talking about you.
That sounds very poet-like.
What? She's good. She's on my damn nerves. I'm not to make any noise about. Shut up. She's on my nerves.
You're totally something to make noise about. I heard your poetry stuffs, and it was like banging. It was like depth and soul, and like all sorts of stuff that isn't maybe my flavor in terms of stylistic choices off the jump. But when I sat and listened to it, I was like, wow, this is very delightful and touching my senses in a romantic, deep way. Like,
thank you.
If I fucked with love poem shit, I would fuck with those love poems.
And that's how I be trying to make me kick her in the foot. God.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. As my father, that was like one of our special bonds because we both deal with the music and the art and stuff like that. And I would leave my door open, especially if I knew he was home. I would leave my door open and just play music. He would come in and sit down, and we would start talking and stuff like that. And like that was our way of communicating, whether it be music or comic books. Because he looked at comic book movies just like how I did. It was like a little friendly competition between us, like who would see a comic book movie first, like when all the Marvel stuff, and I beat him. So, like yeah, I lost him around that time, and at that time, that's when I realized finally what my position was, not only in life, but not only in my family, but in life period. I was, and I am like that person that they all gravitate and come to. Like my brother, like, yo, you the glue of the family, whenever it comes to like the music, or just being that period. My father, he even said, like, on his deathbed, his last words to me was, it's you. Can't be nobody else but you. Like, can nobody handle this the way you handle it, or the way you can handle it. And I never understood as to why he said that shit to me until I was looking down this grave. I'm like, I get it now. I know why you told me this. I know why I was built for this. I no longer question, like, damn, why am I doing all this shit that I know how to do? Why am I doing this? And now I know. I know the purpose. I know it's greater. The purpose of me doing what I'm doing and where I'm going up with it and what I'm going to end up doing, it was greater than me from the beginning. And like now you understand. So just go for it. So with that, doing my music, doing the art, my artwork being on Genuine, working with my homeboy, Keith. He has his clothing line called Mystique, and I've been working with him for like 6 years, probably more. and I did the design for him, and he got it put on the hat. Genuine came to Beanmore one time. He gave the hat to Genuine. Next thing you know, I'm looking on Instagram, and Genuine's rocking the hat. I'm like, oh shit, that's dope. That's dope as fuck. Now, recently, Genuine's in the studio, and what does he have? Another one of the hats that I made. I'm like, oh, this is great. I feel like I won the lottery with this shit. I'll just add it to the resume. Just put it in my portfolio. You know, this is another notch. The music was still going good. The Guild made their debut with our first song called Omega. That shit was fucking awesome. I love that song. We killed that shit. And then next thing you know, we told him about how we both had a verse for Round and Round. Like, yeah, yes, Tizzy, I did tell him. So Brian, God bless him. God bless Brian. Brian, trying to get Brian to memorize a verse or anything in that nature, it's like this man taking a fucking SAT. Like, he feel like he's like trying to cram for midterms or some shit like that. So me and Tizzy, we sitting there and we listen to this beat, and we both just over there just. I see Tizzy writing this shit, and I'm a bitch Brian the phone. No, excuse me, I'm writing too. They say no. Tizzy like, yo, I got my verse. I'm like, shit, I got my verse too, bro. We just start going back and forth. And Brian said, like, wait, I got a verse too. He just turned around, start writing like, yo, catch up. Because me and him, we going at it. And Tizzy came up with the chorus. The chorus is me. Damn, yo, I still got that song. I still have the song for I still have the original Round and Round. I have the original one in the remix for the project. Yes, it did not take us that long to do that shit. Like, that's one thing I can say about the Guild. Whenever it came down to writing, like doing a project or doing songs, anything like that, I was able to write more with them than anybody else. Like, I was constantly like just writing bars, getting verses and stuff together and stuff like that. Especially like if I know I'm in a funk in my head, I know they are working at this point in time, and I'm like, you know what, I gotta match that energy. I'm trying to get Brian to remember it, but it's like waiting for me to get. God damn it, that's funny as shit, and it's fucked up too. But she's not lying. Like Brian, God bless him, but he cannot remember a fucking verse to say. It's like, what we looking like, dude? Seeing Brian memorize a verse is literally like, you know, like, oh, it's gonna be a blue moon or full moon before he memorizes a verse. Like, well, god damn it, the moon is full and Brian lyrics memorize the verse. So boom, there you go. But yeah, man, it was like whenever I know, like the first project, Believe It or Live a Lie, and then the second project, Invaders. The whole writing process and stuff, I knew they was writing and I knew they was working. And it's a friendly competition. Who could outball who? And it's never no beef. It was never no beef. It was never no malice. It was always like, yo, I know such and such is on. Just want to kill this shit. Okay, I'm lying. So this doesn't count as the third time I killed somebody, but it does count a time that I did bad. And for anybody that's out there that doesn't know or do know, if you own Believe It or Live a Lie, the song Rockin' with the King, there's a battle going on in that song. So Brian's verse and my verse is definitely a diss to Brian lyrics, because at the end of his verse, he dissed me and Tizzy. And I heard that shit. My verse for Rockin' with the King, I scrapped it because I heard what the hell Brian said. I was like, oh, you dissing me? Here we go. I love you to death, bro, but I gotta kill you. That's exactly what happened. Shut your ass up, Tizzy. No one's talking to you, sir. Because, no, man, I would have been fine with it had he not went at me the way he did. And I'm like, oh, you dissing me. Nope. Nope, you won't get these. You're going to know why I do what I do to people. And boom, there it is. He was like, "You just dissed me. I did. I really did, and I'll do it again. God damn it, stop it, okay? Stop that you want to just diss me and just walk away from that. No, that's not going to happen. So, love you, Brian, but that's not going to happen again. Don't do nothing dumb. So, so we did that. Still didn't work on having. I be like at this. So at this time, I just been working with the guild. You know, unfortunately, I stepped away from the ICF with the Iron Curtain family. Something that I helped create. I just stepped away from it. And there's reasons as to why I did what I did. Not worth to talk about, but it had to. Mm-hmm. So, so it did. Like, so Tizzy verse for Rockin' with a King, it kind of sound like he was talking about us. Because the way he jumped on, I was like, wait a minute. No one said nothing to him. Why is he barring us? He's like, no, that wasn't about you. I'm like, oh, all right. I'm about to say, like, come on, yo, god damn, no one did nothing to you. Why are you doing this? Like, stay out of it. You're on a song. We're not talking to you. Like, if you listen to it, the way he jumped on, I was like, ooh. I don't know if I should take offense to this. I don't know if I should write another 16, Tizzy. Then I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to do that. It's just fine. He's not talking about me, so I'm not going to worry about it. But, so, doing Invaders, getting better with the music videos, we would end up opening up because of Brian lyrics. We had this, we had this event here in Baltimore called Frozen Harvest Festival. So the best way I can describe it is the Frozen Harvest Festival is B-More's version of Woodstock in the wintertime. It happens every February, like near the beginning or the end of February. It's literally a 2-day event, man, like 100+ acts everywhere, just music everywhere. I'm talking about like all genres. I'm talking about hip hop, metal, classic, R&B, folklore, country, like all that shit is just every fucking way in different places. All congealed in one area. And this awesome experience. If you're a music lover, you love live performances, this is the end drinking and food, of course. This is the place to be at for two days in February. So Brian was one of the acts. He opened up for Onyx, and he got the guild. He performed, and then we came on at the end of his set. So that was our first time performing together. And then the second time, we would be part of the Frozen Harvest Festival. The second time around, and we opened up for Rigo, Rain, Meth Man, Redman. That was awesome. We fucking, oh god, we killed that shit. Oh my god, we bodied the hell out. That shit was so fun. So also around this time, I was working with Polish Shakespeare and helping her with her first project, her first spoken word, which is called Freestyle Through My Emotions, which is that's our baby. That's our brainchild. Like that was literally 9 months of hard labor on both ends. She was pregnant and now was sharing the damn baby pains after pregnancy. It was a whole lot with that damn baby. Yo, so okay. For some reason, whenever we perform, Tizzy's microphone would get cut the fuck off. I don't know why that was happening to him, but it happened. We was doing Rush the Line. I did my verse. Tizzy parts comes up, and the microphone straight cuts off, and I had to quickly handle my mic. Boom. He jumped on. Shut up. The album didn't suck. Shut up. So, that happened. Now, he was like, yo, I swear, if it happens again, I'm gonna fucking go off. So, Frozen Harvest Festival come up again, And it's this time, it's the guild. We're performing. Russia line comes on. Tizzy part comes up. The microphone didn't cut off. But in my head, I was like ready because I had the microphone. I was getting ready to pass on mine, but his shit's still working. I'm like, all right, cool. That's what's up. God damn. But oh my God, it was like, for some reason, it was a typical thing, only with him. Well, so I want to say it's due to the fact that Tizzy has a very commanding voice when he's on a microphone. And that shit, if their system and stuff like that is not well equipped, it'll phase it out. And I think that's one of the things that might have happened. She just jumped on and just boom, killed me. I'm like, damn.
Sir Tizzy, is it possible that your vocal abilities overpowered microphones in a way that other people's didn't? Because if so, that's just a testament to your power.
Yes. That's we call him lyrical Broly. That's that what the fuck he is. So freestyle through my emotion was a good time out. How you know the damn album sucks and you just literally been telling me for the past couple of days that you don't listen to it. You haven't listened to it, so shut up.
Hey.
Good lord.
Memory work. I respect that.
I kill you, girl. But no, that album was good. Like, to me, that was a good experience helping her, like, with that album, like working on it, like the album cover, the music video that you seen, Flowing Waters, like how that came about. The whole thing was like super organic, and everything just flowed correctly and right. And I loved the whole experience. So all that happened. Redesigns became. It stopped becoming like one of those things that I was just doing just for the fuck of it, and it literally started becoming like a way of life for me. It literally started turning back into the one thing that I wanted to do, the one thing that I was striving to do, which was to take my artwork, one of my God-given gifts, and do everything that I was supposed to have been doing with it. Like I've been pushing this pencil since I was 4 or 5, and everything led up to this point in my life that now I've been doing stuff with it. I'm still doing t-shirts, designs and stuff like that, but now I'm getting heavy into logos. Now I'm helping other people create that brand, and it's all starting with this little drawing that I'm putting together. Now people are starting to know other people because of the work that I'm doing, and I'm no longer sitting here fearing that no one's gonna like my artistic skills, no one's like gonna like my style and stuff like that. All that doubt, all that fear, all that shit disappear, and I'm like, you know what? Real designs is literally a real thing now. And like even down to like the style of portraits that I do, all that it's not nothing that I seen on YouTube. It's not nothing that I Google. The style that I'm doing was literally a Saturday, but it was snowing and I couldn't make it to work. And my manager's like, you know what, don't worry about it. You ain't got no business, you good, just go home. I'm sitting down. I'm like, damn, I think I should try to do a portrait. And I did. I did a portrait. My first portrait was of my lady. And the style that I did and I created, I'm looking at it like, dang, I never seen nothing like this online, like digital artists. Like, I never seen this. And now, like, I really feel like I just created something. And I just ran with it. And that's the style that I use to this day. And it's something that I'm real proud of. Like, I'm super proud of it. Like, I'm not confident in a lot of shit that I do. But when it comes to my art, can't nobody tell me shit. I feel dominant.
I was looking at like 3 faces for a minute, and I found myself just staring at them, and it was pleasing. Like I said, I don't know art shit very well, but it was pleasing. It's the best I can give you.
That's a good way to describe it, and I appreciate that shit. It also goes to I'm doing the logos and stuff like that. And now I'm returning back to my comic books, and now my comic book world is taking another form. So it's no longer the glitz and glam of the action figures and the powers. Now it's powers, but it's more on a more adult level or a more mature level, I should say. Not DC dark mature, but just more mature. And one of the characters that I created is the Golden Face Killer, which is another name that I don't. The mask, the influence for the mask is MF Doom. I seen MF Doom. I was like, damn, this guy's, he has a Dr. Doom mask when he's going around. He's like killing it. But then I found out who MF Doom originally was. I'm like, oh shit, it's Silent X. Like, oh shit, he was in the gas face with that piece of shit. Like, oh, yeah, I remember y'all. Nice as shit. What's the purpose behind the mask though? And he gave a good description about it, described it. I was like, you know what? Okay, I might go that route. And I seen this movie, kung fu movie, kung fu movie called Killer from Above, and the villain name was the Gold Killer. That was his name. I was like, Gold Killer, and I seen the mask that he had. I was like, oh shit, I like that. And I do distinctly remember working on my character, the Golden Face Killer. I was like, you know what? I think I should change how he looked. And I took pieces of that and I applied it to my character. And I drew him out. I'm like, damn, I like the way this guy looks. He looks dope as shit. Like, you know what? Maybe I should try this. Maybe I should find a way to either get somebody to make the mask for me or make it myself. And that's what I end up doing. Well, I didn't. I tried to get somebody to do it for me. I drew it up, sent it to him because the guy, he specialized in that shit. That's something I really wasn't good at. But I end up buying a mask and then I painted. And the mask that I've used on a normal basis and what I start the show on with is the mask that I decided to choose. So that's the Golden Face Killer. Red Designs, the word red. So here's an acronym for it. React, engage, destroy. That's the original meaning of Red Designs. The new meaning, because now I'm in a business aspect and I don't want to scare the shit out of nobody because of my militant thinking, is redirecting energy directly. So the meaning behind that one is this. Normally when I get a client, say you want to get a logo from me, but mentally, like, it's like you know what you want, but you don't know what you want. So now you got all these ideas that you tossing in the like, all right, this, I wanted to look like this, that, and the third, but you know how this is, it's all this energy is being tossed everywhere because you have this one idea. So I take that energy, I condense everything down for you, streamline it, and present it to you in a way that you could better understand what it is that you want and that you could possibly receive it. So I redirect that energy to you directly, like face to face, person to person. So now you understand more. Like, oh, you know what? That is what I want. So that's my job. Is to make everything more easier for you. And more easier for me because I do have to draw this out for you. So
that's very fascinating.
Thank you.
No, for real, I like that. I mean, professionally, I work with designers and have had to make requirements and a few other things. So, like, I totally appreciate what you're saying on multiple layers beyond the more direct description you gave. But I do want to know about this third bodying situation.
I was just about to get into it
because I'm like, we can't miss that. That has to happen now.
Yes, the cult, the gala, the third person. So, Miss Shakespeare, are you ready to go on this travel down memory lane? Because I am. All right, boom. So it was in December. I remember it because it was a house show that me and my friend Kim, well, my bestie. So no, she sees this friend, whatever. So, so I'm there, and I get a phone call from Polis. Now, Polish knew where I was at. Polish, she's the type of person, she doesn't bother nobody unless it's serious.
Mm.
So she hit me up. I'm at the phone. I'm like, oh, and it was just so happens I was like on my way out because we had intermission. So I'm going out. I'm like, yo, it's good. She's like, yo, we got a problem. I'm like, oh, what's going on? She said she explained everything to me. Like this guy, he disrespected me, called me all kinds of bitches and stuff like that while I was on the air, while I was on the radio, because she was being interviewed by someone. And I'm like, oh no. Like, so what's wrong? What you need? I'm like, you need a 16 or you need the beat. She's like, oh, I need both. I'm like, oh, you calling the hit? She's like, yeah. I'm like, say no more. She tagged me in, the little chat room, the comments. It was on Facebook Live. She tagged me in it, and I'm looking, reading. I put down at the bottom, talking to quiet, and I start writing another 32 bars. The guy name is Section 8. Oh my God. He looked like a discount version of Ethan Hawke. You look like the Family Dollar General swap meet version of Ethan Hawke. I am not lying to you. Like he literally looks like if they was to do Training Day, but on a very low budget, and this movie wasn't going to be shown on Sci-Fi, and you probably find like at the dollar rack, he would be Ethan Hawke. It's exactly how this guy looks. And I'm looking like, you got the nerve. And then I heard the one song that he had. I'm like, this is terrible. You come off wrong. You talk bad about female. She's just playing around and stuff like that. You take it seriously. I'm behind the keyboard. Okay, bet that. So I'm gonna do you ugly. Roll the track to 50 Cent. I can't remember the name of the damn song. I hate that shit, but I know the beat as always. But the name of the song is called Guillotine. I actually did the cover art for it. Like the artwork was fucking mean. Like I love this one. Out of everything that I drew, I fucking love that one because oh god, it reminded. I kind of felt like I tapped into the front cover for the Swords. So boom, I did it. Record the song. Got Polders on in the beginning, talking mad greasy. Oh my god, she's talking greasy, and I love it. She's talking greasy in a way that shocked a lot of people. I'm like, look, I kind of needed that raunchiness on this track, and that just went in on it. I went in on his band so bad. I put it on his YouTube page. I put the link, SoundCloud link on his YouTube page. I was able to get it played on radio. I got the opportunity to put my artwork on the 52-foot billboard. I had to submit 4 pieces of artwork. The cover for the fucking song was in the fall, and it was going to be on this billboard for the fucking world to see. But the people saying that like, you gotta choose another picture. We don't promote violence. I'm like, they say we don't promote gore. I'm like, it's not really that gory. I kind of lied because it actually was. It was like blood and shit like that. If anybody out there ever seen the movie The Guillotine, when the guy uses the guillotine to take the head off, the head is still inside the basket. Well, this picture, the guy that looked like the fake ass Ethan Hawke, I drew his face. And it's inside the fucking basket still. I'm just holding it. It's fucking awesome. So, I have yet to hear from this guy. Like, I don't hear from him. He hasn't made no music ever since. I actually decided to, like, look him up. Like, oh, what's he doing with his life? He's not doing nothing.
So, you definitely continued the streak.
He died.
I appreciate that. It's a good story. So how did you end up getting into this current project that you released last year?
So the Black EP was me sitting here like, you know what? I think it's time. I did the projects with the Guild. I worked with Polish Shakespeare. I think it's time for me to, do something. Plus, Brian and Tizzy literally has been yelling at me for the past couple of years. Thank you, so I appreciate you. So we had this thing that I created because I love Marvel so much. We had phases that we was going to do the projects. So phase one, um, Brian and Tizzy, they already had projects coming out. And it was like, all right, after everybody drops a project, we would do an Avenger-esque release. So you got, the first movie, the second movie, and then the Avengers. Well, it's supposed to be the first movie, second movie, third movie, Avengers. So it was like Brian, Tizzy, me, Believe It or Live Alive. Me, Brian, Tizzy, Invaders. Tizzy, Brian, me, such and such. That's how it's supposed to go. I broke the chain twice. I fucked up. So, all right. Well, hopefully we do another album. They let me kick it off. So I finally, after years, I did the Black EP. The Black EP was that whole process of that. It's just I was quiet about it. So I didn't really say nothing to nobody about the Black EP. Like I literally thought about the title of the album. I was at work, working out in university. I was just sitting there, cashing on the Saturday, getting everything together. And I just looked down. I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me. I just told myself, like, it's time for me to work on another project. I just looked down. I was like, the Black EP. Side note, that's not what it was originally called. It was originally supposed to be called the Eager Tape. So now we're getting into a little bit more history. So the Eager was a group, was the name of a clan of ninjas. So you had the Eager and you had the Koga. Now the Eager and Koga, they was like a family clan, but something happened that separated them, then became enemies. I think it had something to do with Nobunaga and one of the fucking Eager ninjas betraying them and then going over to the Koga. So it was like that created like an eternal beef between them. Well, I just so happened to like the Eager ninjas. Why I like Eager ninjas? Because one of my favorite ninjas, Hattori Hanzo. Don't say nothing. I said don't say nothing. Hattori Hanzo was an Eager ninja. And I'm like, and I love Hattori Hanzo. Samurai Showdown made me love him. To come to find out that he's a real fucking person, I was like, holy shit. And I just did my research, like, like Hattori Hanzo. He's part of Eager? That's where I'm going at. So, boom. So the Eager Tape was going to be a series of songs that was based around the Eager ninjas. And like it was going to be like told through Hattori Hanzo's eyes. That was supposed to be, that was the original project. But this shit just took a whole different, it just went a whole different route, like literally. And I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. That's all I kept telling myself. The first song, inadvertently, was Light Source, which that video is going to be redone. God, we'll talk about that. That was the first song. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna add that one. Rounds came later. Solstice. The beat was produced by one of my co-workers when I was at Arbor Pen. His name Bangin' Beats, and it was just I just found out he was like, yo, I make beats, and he played a couple of them. I'm like, yeah, yo, you nice as shit. And he was like, yo, man, we could work together someday, or you collab. I'm like, yeah, cool beans. And he sent me the Solstice. It was called something else. I was like, yo, I fucking love this beat, bro. Like, how much? He's like, no, you go ahead and take it. You can have it. Do whatever you want with it. Just make sure I get credit. I was like, fuck yeah, you got that. And I killed that shit. I had to. I love that beat. DNA Shouts out to Paula Shakespeare yet again. DNA is the name of her book, her first book that she published. She's an author as well as a poet. DNA is short for Don't Never Assume. And she asked me in a group called BBK to do a song centered around her book for her book release. And because I have all this shit going up in here, I didn't submit my song in time, but I still did it. So if you listen to DNA, the first verse, the whole everything I was saying, I was using the first I was using the first word, the first letter in DNA. So don't never assume that the demons never sleep. So that was the format. Like the first, you'll hear DNA in the beginning of every fourth bar in the first verse. That's how I like plan it out right there. So don't never assume that the demons never sleep. The concepts. See these daily, like the daily news action reporting the transaction, how we fight with self, constantly fighting the shut the fuck up, constantly fighting the transactions. Stop plugging me. This is all about you, and I'm an authorist. So how you want to tell me to stop, but then you correct me? Yes, she's an authorist. How you want to correct me? Shush.
That makes sense because she's correcting you on some gender norm shit, not correcting you on some center of attention shit. So that's actually an astute correction to make, and I accept that personally. There's a distinction there.
Yeah. Okay. Then hey, I had an unwritten rule and or agreement. Like, so we're talking about my origin. Believe it or not, the people that helped propel me and push me as far as in my origin is concerned, those people have to get highlighted. Because I wouldn't have his origin. I wouldn't have his origin if they, wasn't part of it. Like my lady, I mentioned that she's a good artist. She helped.
I get that part in total. I agree with you entirely.
You're welcome. I keep telling you, take the win, jerk. Like my lady, I said she's a great writer. She helped me with my comics and stuff like that. She helped me with the stories. Hell, she didn't help me. Well, she took the picture for as a matter of fact, I'm tripping. She took the picture for There's One Amongst Us, and she actually did the cover for the Black EP. That's her work. That's not mine. I just put the letters and shit down there. She did that. That was all her.
Cool cover. So shout out because that's a cool cover. I liked it.
Right.
No, but I really fucks with the giving flowers to the people that are contributors to your success, and it should be done and it should be popularized because, the idea that we do things on our own and shit, like, nah, that's not real to me. Everything in my life is the byproduct of a lot of other people graciously giving me their time and energies, allowing me to redirect them into flows I liked better.
Exactly. See, and I get it. I understand. Like, you know this about you right now. Well, there wouldn't be no me if it wasn't for you. So, my dude,
and if we
shut the hell
run
up.
A time ratio, like you gave a chunk to her, facts, but like this has been mostly about you. So I accept that you were focused for like until what, the 3.5 hours in, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna give flowers. Criticism.
Yeah. Right. Like, I mean, you kind of have to because you. So, for a large period of my life, there was really not a lot of intricate gears that helped me get here. It was literally my footwork. Mine is, of course, I kept mentioning my oldest brother Doc. If it wasn't for him showing me about comic books and stuff like that, I wouldn't be drawn. So I definitely gave a huge shout out to him. But the music and stuff like that, like, I learned shit tons working with Brian, Tizzy, Polis, Street Sky, my brothers, a whole lot of people. But the ones that's that consistently, Brian, Tizzy, Polis, they definitely have to mention them. I would be wrong if I didn't.
I agree with you, man. I see the world like that as well. That's part of why I love this. That's why I like to go as long as we do.
Yeah,
We go
this is
this
awesome.
because like it gives people the chance to really think about stuff like that. And honestly,
Right.
I've spent the last I only really got into it like for reals in November. So for the last 4 or 5 months, it's been like this reflection of my own life, and it's been really interesting to think about the significance of different people. And it made me really realize how little anything is solo. Like however much you wanna go a different way. I mean, I prefer
Yeah.
pants to flowers, to be fair, but the expression is what it is.
Yeah. Yo, she loves pins, dude. Real quick, and I'm gonna get back to the Black EP. We was at an event. I'm trying to remember which one it was. She loves pins. She's a bit of a klepto when it comes to pins. And like I forgot where we was at, but I remember how like, yo, watch my back or like make a distraction. I'm like, wow, I should just start taking pins from off at the table. I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you? Oh my god, put it in my pocket. Let's go. Like you're using me as a fucking accomplice, dude. Like, you know what? This is how we have fun. All right, let's come on, let's go. So
I accept
that's good lord. The Black EP, I end up doing videos for 'em. I did rounds. Like I said, it was funny that you was listening to How Many because I was working on that one. That's like almost done, actually. Um, Produced by Street Scott. Shout out to my brother Street Scott. He produced it. How Many? And it was he makes me so mad. So I was actually on the verge of being finished with the Black EP. It was only supposed to be 5 tracks, and I'm like, good. I got all the songs. You know, I done wrote everything. I recorded everything. I'm sitting on the couch, not looking at a horror movie, and I get an inbox from Street. Check your email, bro. When he said those words, here we go. Check the email. He was like, yo, I couldn't hear nobody else spit off of this but you. I played the beat and I immediately fell in love with it. I'm like, oh my god. I just hit him like, yo, I fucking hate you. Why? Because I was almost done and now I gotta write to this. I have to. I wasn't going to just sit there like, no, y'all get back to it later. No, I'm gonna burn this down. And I'm glad I did because I love that song. So I was literally done. Like I had my 5. I'm like, all right, I'm good. And here he come with this. I'm just shaking my head. I hate you. I love the shit out of you, but God, I hate you for doing this to me.
No,
So
those are great moments. Like those are the best
It
problems.
is.
Those are good. Those are what I call happy people problems. Because that's a happy
Yes.
people problem if I ever done heard one.
It is. It is. Oh my God. But it's awesome. We have a knack for getting on each other's nerves like that, and that was one of those moments. I'm like, yep, it's been a while since you did this, so kudos to you, sir. Until I end up doing something, he just hit me up like, you know what, you make me sick. I love you too, bro. So,
It's fresh.
and I like the Bike EP. This was actually to me it was good. It was
It's a
good.
super-
It was a good way to come back.
So like, I guess I heard a bunch of it a couple of times now, and honestly, it's really cohesive, really well put together. I noticed the song lengths are like in line with modern algorithmic trends. Like, there's a lot of things you did that are like hip with it.
Thank you. I try to be different on this one. I know my last project, there's one of Monsters. I had a lot of features on it. I really didn't have a lot of solo tracks on that. This one only had one feature, and it was basically it was DNA. It was bonus. That was it. Bottom line. So secretly, there's 2 features. I didn't highlight the second feature. There's a reason behind that, but the last song, as a matter of fact, the I Choose You. Yes, my lady, she's on there, and we're talking about how we met. And that was the purpose of that song. We talked about how we met, how I met your mother. So
No, it's honestly like that's probably my favorite.
Oh man, thank you, thank you, thank you. I actually like that song. That song's pretty dope. I always wanted to touch that sample too. That the International Players Anthem, Andre 3000 verse. That's my shit. I love his verse because the way he did it, he got the fuck off. Oh my god!
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good verse, but like to me, it's just the second you get that sweet Jones, the second that kicks in like that, I'm just done.
Oh,
It's like,
Pimp C. Yes,
yeah.
yes. Sweet Jones. What's this? A cheesy. Never ever fuck that out of love.
And
That is my shit.
it's hard for me to like look. Andre is still like I was thinking about it. Like there's a lot of good parts on Andre's part. It's spacey and out there. How much features is too much for you? And can too much features? That's a good question.
To me, if you have like a 12-track project, and out of the 12, you have 5 features, it's too much to me. If you have features, I would say like 3 max. And the reason why I'm saying that, especially if you are, especially if it's your first one, you want people to know what you're capable of. Can you hold a whole album down by yourself without having features on there? This is just my philosophy.
Like
now, if you have an album on there and the features like do like the chorus, or they probably come on the end to talk shit or something like that, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you have an album and you literally have features on there like doing verses and stuff like that, jumping on with your stuff like that, and you really don't have solo songs, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. How are you going to be able to go do a show and your album has mad features? You might not be able to get to these people. So you got to be able to hold this shit down by yourself.
It's so interesting that you say that. Only because, and maybe I'm just thinking about it, because my next project I'm working on is going to basically be as many features as I can get on nearly every song. But I have a whole bunch of shit I can go perform by myself. I don't really need to.
See, so you have a balance. You got to create that balance. No one's going to. If you're coming out the gate, and it's just you and a whole bunch of other people, they're like, oh man, what can you do? Can you really entertain this whole crowd by yourself?
So the idea of a collabos album down the line, once you've established yourself with a good amount of solo material, is an acceptable move. It's just the idea of doing it off the jump is dangerous. Is everything okay?
Yeah, just so randomly. So but yeah, people gotta know that you can hold the shit down. Now you said a collabs album. That's dope. You know, that's dope as shit. That's and that's your concept. You know, a whole album collabs. That's cool. Like DJ Khaled, he does. You know, it's a couple of people that do it. But for that to be your first album,
yeah, okay. No, I agree with that. Like, I didn't even want to play nice with people at first, personally. I just thought about it for myself. It has to do with a bigger plot in my life. Like, it's really attached to a story arc why I want to do this. It's not like a random thing. But I was just thinking about it. He's like, man, I'm going to have, like, features on practically. But to be fair, the first song's going to be just by myself with no features. So it's...
Right. Cool.
But, like, I mean, it is what it is. But, like, I just think it's an interesting question because to me the answer is whatever the fuck makes sense for the project.
That too. That's actually a better answer, to be honest with you.
Because I don't know how to answer it uniformly. Like, yo, what if the first project you have really is this great opportunity and it just happens to be, like, the best, like, you come up with this, like, album where you get voice actors to come in as different rappers to play, you know, like, who knows? I'm not saying it. I just want to diminish the weird, obscure things that could break the rule. I just want to say that there are opportunities where it could be cool.
True.
Although in principle, I completely agree with you, and it took I completely see what you're saying, because you do have these albums that come out, especially in mainstream releases, where sure the core fan base knows who these people are, but then you break into this mainstream realm where all of a sudden it's basically your first album in the eyes of everybody, and it's like, yo, literally and I know this is an album reviewer, where it's like, yo, literally, I don't know how to fucking get into this, because it's every song is catered to the features, and that's the danger of it being so feature heavy. But I guarantee you, to the core fans, that shit was just dope, because they already fucked with that shit back in mixtape day, back in the day that we never saw type thing.
Right, yeah. True, so.
So I just look at it like, I don't know, but I agree with you, because the truth is, it's a dangerous marketing move. I will personally so it's like, it's hard to say, but then again, who knows what people want out of this. Some people don't really want the fame falls upon them, and then all the things like, it can get really like out there. I've tried to like scale back what my desires are so much, just to try to look at it more like kind of like what you do with your design elements. That's how I'm trying to look at music more, because I got really kind of critical with it and it was less fun. So now I'm trying to like make it magical again and think outside the box and go back to the shit I cared about when I was 19. Because that was simple.
Right.
That was a simpler time in terms of deciding what I liked. I just like shit, I didn't think as much.
Right. I could dig it. To have that young mind again.
I'm really trying to fuck with it. I'm trying to talk to like 20-year-olds to get like inspired and shit, because the youth is so fucking cool. I digress. What's next for you? And I don't want to like rush it, but it's getting to the point where wrap
that shit up, B. So right now, currently, art is a major thing with me right now. The music is there. I will be so bold to say that it's actually getting ready to take a back seat. I do have 2 to 3 features that I'm gonna be doing soon. One with a young lady, her name is Eva Rhymes. Me and her are working on, but we worked on one song, the video for it, called Who We Are, which is actually pretty damn dope. When it drops, it's gonna be fucking phenomenal. I'm working with another gentleman named Brian Scott. We just did a song called Those Hills, and we'll be working on a song called Phoenix Rising. And then I'm gonna be doing a feature with another gentleman by the name of You'll Never Know. I'm actually writing my verse for that now.
Nice.
I believe after those 3, I know there's a fourth, and there's a project I'm gonna be working on. I believe after all that, I am going to slowly fade into the background and just strictly art. Like right now, currently, I'm doing logos, doing designs. I just revamped the design board with designs. I'll possibly be showing that before we leave. Any artists we should check that you'll enjoy. No, I don't. I really don't listen to the radio like that. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I was like, it's like I just can't. I can't. It's like noise over beats. That's all I'm hearing right now. That's it.
Yo,
noise
over
beats.
If you were to go on a journey with me for 3 hours, I could bring you to a place where you see it differently, but you might not want to do that, and I totally respect that.
Thank you. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's out there, but I haven't heard nothing like, oh man, to scream about. I'm like,
No, that's fair. I agree with Ismail. It's mad fair. Like, you do your thing, it's great, your music's beautiful, you want to fade into art. I mean, literally, it's like, that's what you were just saying, So it's like, you don't even have the same reason I do to keep up with it.
No, I mean, no, not right now, currently. Like, the music's there, but it's not as important as it once upon a time ago. Like, my art is literally doing exactly, god damn it, literally doing exactly what I wanted it to do.
you know, and it's going in the direction that I was aiming for. So that's my thing now. So now I'm working on my picking up some more abilities and stuff. I'm getting into 3D modeling.
Oh my gosh,
Because
that's sexy.
Thank you. Like
You
the
don't have
end
to-
goal.
Sorry.
The end goal for me. No, you good. The end goal is to take the characters that I've created and do like make my own like minor action figures and stuff like that.
Oh my
So-
gosh, dude, that's fucking ridiculous. In
That's
in
what
the
I was-
best possible way.
Thank you. So
Nah.
this is the new logo for Red Designs.
Yeah, it's fresh. You're
Thank
so
you, thank
talented, man.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Dude, I look
That's
forward to seeing what you do next. You're one of the more interesting people I've talked to for a few reasons.
Thank you.
Honestly, your stuff's been in theory linking throughout. Whatever, we're gonna link everything below after, and all the videos that come later, all the good stuffs. We have it. We appreciate you
Awesome.
coming through so much. Honestly,
Thank you, man. I had fun being here. This is awesome. It's awesome shit.
I feel like it's cool. Like I enjoyed it a lot. Not everybody goes this late. So usually when it goes this late, it's a good time. And I don't say that. I say it only ever at this time. So I sound like an asshole, like all tired and shit. It is what it is. I stopped drinking coffee along the way because it was making me pee way too much. So that's how I could make it through now with less coffee. So I'm just like dead at this time. But yo, I had a blast, and fuck, man, yo, you have no idea how into VR I am and my desires and futures. And so when you said 3D modeling, I'm like, no, I can't do this. I can't start that conversation. We'll be here till 11:30. I can't do it.
Yo, what?
But I want to so fucking bad. Like, it would be a pleasure to bring you back in the future. I know for a fact that we could just shoot the shit about whatever for like 4 hours, and it would be a blessed time. And I would love to do that for sure. Definitely a lot more questions in like in general I would ask, but like your mind is amazing. You're like a walking superhero. It's pretty fucking cool. So thank you for all of the knowledge nuggets and the good time. And at some point soon, all clips will appear on this, and then down the line, the full video will come out and all that good shit. Thank you, audience, watching, peoples in the different platforms that came and went. Appreciate y'all. For reals, it's without you, it's boring. So you made it not boring. So thank you for that. And for the people watching in the future, I don't see you, but you make it more sustaining and make it like, yay, people everywhere. Thank you for being part of it. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good shit. We are going to raid 514 Online Mix because they're the home peoples. They're the coolest media source in Montreal, and they finally on fucking Twitch, so we're going to raid them and give them the love that they deserve. So make sure you hit that follow and fucking give all the loves to the 514 Online Mix peoples. And yo, special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prater, Jonathan Barnes, EJ Black Hurricane, the Double Ames, and Scribble. They're dope to support what we do. If you're on Twitch and have Amazon Prime, it's free to hit that sub button. And if otherwise in the future, patreon.com/behindthatsuit. On that note, everyone, it's been super lovely. Do you have any last words before we bounce off?
Love, peace, and happiness. Like now. Thanks, everybody. I truly appreciate y'all. This is awesome. Thanks to everybody signing on. Tizzy, Polis. If there's anybody out there that knows me and I don't know who your handle is, oh, my fault. Donald, love you, bro. If there's anybody out there that knows me but I didn't know what your handle was, love you. Thank you for signing on. Y'all guys been awesome. Y'all been great.
Fresh, yeah. So live long and prosper, everyone. I'm going to start the